Testing. Microphone working? Hello. Whoop. Oh. Whoa, there we go. That'll give people the idea. How you all doing today? I hope you're doing well. I'll put it right here so I don't feel weird so I can look right at the chat. Oh, no, I'll put chat right here for the intro. If this is your first week joining us, last week we did the exact same thing. Every Friday night for the last 3 weeks. Yeah, 3 weeks. I've been joining Gem Mint and his colorful crew of individuals discussing the Loki episodes. And it starts at about 6 p.m. my time, so 10 minutes from now. And we're going to continue to do it this week. So, thank you all for joining me in about 10 minutes. When I get the go-ahead from Gem, we're going to jump in on his side. We're going to do a little bit different today, though. I was asked to be on a Valiant show discussing some Valiant issues, like literally right at the ending of Gen Min's show. Like, they want me there. So I asked if they just want me to stay live and we could discuss the Valiant show. So it's a smaller channel. It's called I Freakin Love Comics. So we'll be joining them as well tonight. And I'm trying to make this a thing. I'm trying to make these Friday nights a thing where I can come chat with you guys, but now none of you are talking in the chat, so I don't know if it broke on me like immediately after doing this. Let's find out. Yeah, it did. It did. It 100% broke. The last thing I saw was stop gawking from Kyle and nothing after that. So let me go ahead and try resetting that. My back is doing better. I did a light bike ride today, so I did that. Even as an overlay, what is it? Shazam X worked for finding songs. Yeah, it was one song. It's one of the original songs we used to run on the channel. Whenever we would end a series, we'd play that song. It's called New Beginning. And basically what ended up happening was, along with the old intro song, we technically have the rights, but we technically don't know the site it came from. So I have the rights to a bunch of music from a bunch of copyright-free things, but a few of them were handed to us by one of our early editors, an old business partner of mine, and I don't know where he acquired them all. And when we found out that technically we owned the rights but didn't know where it came from, I cut out all those songs. That's why that original intro got cut out. Will I ever shave my beard again? One day probably. Oh, so William Wilson, I ride my bike probably 4 to 5 times a week, averaging about 5 to 6 miles, sometimes up to 8 miles. I ride my bike a lot. I do everything from mountain biking to road biking to trail biking, like the whole 9 yards. What happened, and the reason I hurt my back, was we moved to a new area, and right next to me is a hill that's about this angle, and it's a mile long. And so I rode to the bottom of that, and 3 days in a row, I rode up that hill. Now, I've never done that. I've never gone up a hill of that angle. And after the second day I hurt, the third day I decided to do it again. And it just destroyed my back. So that's basically it. So today we did a more casual ride around the lake. And then I'm going to get back to it as planned. Like getting back to my mountain biking stuff and all this thing. Would I work for DC and Marvel on a comic? Of course I would. I'm not the only one that works on Comicstorian. We have a team of 9 people, boy. There are 9 individuals that make this channel happen at this point. And I work on other projects like Absolutely Marvel and DC or Absolutely PlayStation and Steam Gamers. I worked on Comicstorian. We worked on List Bomb. We worked on Tales of Earth. I've got a new channel every year. That's just a fun goal I do. This year I'm going real hard on the other channels, though, because the other ones were just fun little hobbies. This year I want them to become my new primaries. So, yeah, the hill broke my back. Yeah, well, I'm glad you enjoyed it, Adam. It was so funny. So I log in this morning to go launch videos because me and Houston were going to go do that bike ride, like the recovery bike ride. So I'm like, okay, let me get the video out real quick. And I log in, and the first 2 videos I see on the upload schedule, like right in front of me, is Comics Experiment and Heroes Reborn, the finale. And I'm half asleep. I'm drinking coffee. And I'm like, okay, those must be today. Launch the Comics Experiment and then set up Heroes Reborn for a 2 o'clock release. And I do my thing. And I realize midway through, like getting ready to walk out the door, it's Friday. Luckily, we didn't have any sponsors on this one, like direct sponsors who paid for the Saturday slot, so not a big deal, but just answer yes or no. Did I scream? Yes! How do you feel about Agent Venom returning? Excited, and I just scheduled it out. Apparently, he's going to be in Extreme Carnage, which on our channel will come to the channel on Extreme Carnage, the 17th. We'll be releasing that episode. As a part of this whole delaying videos by a week or two, just so I have a more of a relaxed lifestyle, I'm actually going to go on vacation for the first time ever. I honest to God, cannot think of another time that I took a block of time off since doing Comicstorian with the intention of actually going on vacation. I've done a lot of things where I go on a trip to a location and I stay 3 more days, but I cannot think of the last time I took a block of time and said, I'm doing this fun stuff. I did not get the Thanos skin, Evan. There's 2 skins I don't have. It's Thanos, and I didn't get that one because I don't like it, and the other one's Deadpool because it wasn't around when I was playing, so. No, it'll never be a secondary channel, but I'm going to treat it like so, but it will never be a second channel, so. That's nice, Emily. Thank you. That's what we go for with that. You end up getting bit by the store owner's dog? I can't help you with that, Kevin. I don't know why he would have his dog there. Thank you so much, Freddie Ho. For anybody who's joining us to see the review, as we did last week, I'm waiting for the go-ahead from Jem. And we will be hopping over there. Because we're going live on my end, we do these little intros while he sets up everything on his end so that nothing is said behind the scenes that shouldn't be live. I agree with you, Jamie. I'm not going to say your comment out loud, only because we're about to go into the review. I really doubt anyone's going to watch this and not have seen it, but I'll play it safe until we get to the review. There's a few people that apparently only watch my Flash reviews on the other channel and don't watch the show. Don't know why. And of course I can say poggers. I agree, Batman fan, and I am waiting for the next issue. It's still not out. I can't cover it. Current state of comics? I think they're in a weird spot. They're finally adapting to the digital market and the styles of which manga and everything are portrayed and put out there. But at the same time, they're still trying to do classic comic book bullshit. As an example of classic comic book bullshit, so if I was reading a manga that was an 8-issue series, it'd be 1 through 8. If I was reading a Marvel story, apparently it's 1 through 7, and then another book is the ending. Did any of you guys watch the Heroes Reborn finale today? It's not the finale. The last issue is called Heroes Return, and it's not even categorized with Heroes Reborn. Like, that's a thing only U.S. comic books would do. Why would you do that? It doesn't make any sense. Why would you make it difficult for me to find the finale? For those who are wondering, this is a rum and coke, and this is G Fuel, because I got 2 podcasts we're doing here today. Yeah, exactly. Talali House. I have you muted on everything on Dead King Taz, so I have no idea. I keep saying these things to you, but you keep thinking I'm joking. I don't even see one. I don't even see one from you. It's U.S. comic. Like, look, everyone's like manga and anime for life. Look, manga and anime and U.S. comic books, they're the same thing, man. Same goddamn stories, okay? My Hero Academia, you all love it. Hey, guess what? It's X-Men. The problem is, I could go read My Hero Academia in one straight line with side stories. Well, if I go read X-Men, there's 90 books telling various different stories. Shoot it over on Discord if you want me to see it, Undead. Apparently my Spotify closed? All right. Is it weird that you're scared of the Batman to left? A little. He's a fictional character Batman fan. Like, I honestly, I don't understand the argument of manga is so much better than US comics. They're not. They're the exact same thing. All of them tell different stories. If you want to go shonen, you want to go young protagonist getting powerful in the world, hey, here's Miles Morales. You can find an analog for each of them in every single thing. It's just US comics are becoming such a problem to keep up with. Like, if you've been following the channel with all these little compilation videos I've been making recently, which I've been having a blast of doing, where we do like 3 to 4 issues, sometimes 2, we do a bunch of issues at one. I'm losing track of which issues I'm doing because they're so convoluted. We're not missing issues for any reason. We're missing, like, when we miss that issue of The Flash, because it's convoluted. The covers don't make sense. The titling changes. They swap the numbers around all the time. Well, now it's legacy numbering. Now it's a new number 1. Now I can't find your freaking comic, man. That's what you did. Exactly, Crimson. Exactly. And like the American comics versus manga stories, they both have their pros and cons. Like, some of them are put more in the Japanese culture. As a fan of anime and manga, I prefer that to an extent. But I also like the American style. The whole woke crowd argument, it doesn't even exist in my opinion. Because yes, you'll have a writer who does something you don't like. And then you have like 90 other comics that do everything you do like. So just ignore the one you don't like. But the same stuff applies in manga. You can get a manga that's about racism or various woke topics. Like, they exist. They do exist. You're choosing to ignore them because they're not in Shonen Jump. That's what's going on with that. The problem is they just don't know how to organize the stories in American comics. And I don't know why it's so difficult, because manga gives you a straight, like this is it. This is how you should do it. It works. It sells. Look, we're surpassing you in sales. And their answer is, well, yeah, but let's do Heroes Return 1 through 7 and then do a separate book as the ending. I did finish No Man's Land. It's done, Kevon. Completely done. Presented on Discord. Oh, I did like that. Yeah. No, they're giving out comics finally. What's my favorite comic storyline? So I always say No Man's Land because it is one of my favorites. But I recently got into a discussion about the one that I forget is one of my favorites. Batman Hush, actually. So all right, we're going to jump in with Gem Mint to get into this Loki discussion. So I need to take myself off the screen. Video capture device off. And then I go into his. And then I pull it up over here. The countdown, don't worry about the countdown, guys. It's just an animated screen, so you're not staring at nothing for a second. Can't access my devices. Why? Oh, I know what I gotta do. Hold on. There we go. Go to this one now.
Had a lot to do with enchantment. We thought maybe Loki was enchanting Sylvie, and this guy, I really want to get his thoughts on it. Ben,
there he is.
Okay, okay. I didn't say anything like if my theory was wrong, I was gonna have to eat like weird food. Did I?
Good, right?
Thank God.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
So, guys, without getting too much into episode 4, with how episode 4 panned out, how do you feel about episode 3, Benny? Is it the letdown? Is it the 2 out of 10 that you thought it was going to be, or did it kind of do something different?
It is a 2 out of 10. It is definitively a 2 out of 10. And here's my biggest reason.
I'm going to come at you when you're done, though.
Okay, I'll make it quick. The opening part of that episode, the opening part of this episode 4 could have been in 3 and redeemed it. Where they got to, they ended up going back and they dealt with all of that stuff. I felt like instead of just giving us 5 solid episodes, instead of giving us a long episode 3 and a short episode 4, they put everything into 4, and 3 was just dragging on without revealing anything. And then 4 was like, reveal, 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 reveal. And I'm like, ah! And then it was like, debated, reveal. I'm like, what? No!
You literally
you
came in
alright, so
came in
we-
the last episode saying you were gonna set the show on fire if you were wrong.
I'm-
Okay? You were so loud, by the way, and not that you're not loud now, but like you were adamant that you were gonna set the show on fire if you were wrong. So I'm not saying you were wrong, but
The one thing I think the saving grace from your 2 of 10 was the fact that it wasn't just they showed up and saved them. No, the Lokis actually
It mattered.
caused something for them, a Nexus event for them to find them. And not only did they cause a Nexus event, they caused a Nexus event that no one's ever seen before. Something
I like that.
completely
I
different.
think that right there is foreshadowing. I mean, we know something's going to happen. Multiverse is going to start. What would be the best way to cause that to happen? It would probably be something good, something like love, something that you want to happen, but it's going to have some ramifications. Are we going to see the Lokis get together?
Isn't that a terrible plot point, though? Doesn't
I
that
think
take a
so.
potential female Loki? Oh, she's a variant, and she's doing all this crazy stuff, and oh, no, she's just there to be a love interest for the other Loki. Let's not make it weird. Don't overthink it. Like,
I have another theory here. So
I have
we
a huge question after Gary's done. Go ahead, Gary.
So it kind of opens, and Jem, I don't want to steal your thunder here, but we
That's
open
all right.
up kind of, not only do we see that, but you get a little bit of the origin of female Loki, right? Is it possible that Thor Love and Thunder, that Jane Foster came from this female Loki's universe, and there's a female Thor as Jane Foster and a female Loki? Or am I grasping here?
Question.
I think that's too complex for MCU.
I
Man.
agree, but I do like that idea. You know,
Right? Because are they going to sideline Thor for the entire Thor Love and Thunder while Jane Foster is Thor? Because that would be kind of lame, right?
No, I don't think they're going to do that, but I do think there'll be a multiverse moment where maybe Jane Foster Thor comes out and was from the same place as female Loki.
Or from another one, or from
Or a
another
different
reality.
one.
Yeah, right. That's actually a
I
cool
mean-
idea because it's hard to think of this Jane Foster in the MCU becoming the Jane Foster that was
She
Thor.
can't.
Well,
Right.
she has stated that she's going to go through the whole Jason Aaron cancer,
Arc?
Wow.
arc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Okay.
serious, man. I'm looking
That was
forward to
good
seeing
stuff.
it.
Jem, it's not like they would fake us out or anything like that. It's not like they would kill Loki and put a female. She's gonna be the lead, guys. By the way, I have a question for you guys real quick because I'm very annoyed by this. I didn't watch the mid-credit scene until I was doing my first review that I had to do with a different channel. Like I didn't even know it existed. And then
Oh, so you were pissed.
I was mad, and then on top of that, and then I found out about the mid-credit scene. I was even more mad. Like, stop.
It doesn't
just-
matter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
stop throwing it Why? No, either do them or don't. Stop just
Yeah.
randomly doing them.
Nothing
Well, I
matters.
feel like for the last 2 or 3 episodes of each series, we're getting them now. So
Yeah,
the first
so
half
that's
of the
kinda how
season,
it
we get
happens.
nothing, and then
Right.
they start to show up.
Because the cliffhangers are too strong towards the end of these series, like WandaVision and Loki. It's like they gotta give us something. So before we start episode 4, let's just clear everything out with episode 3. My final thoughts on episode 3 are like, you needed to build the relationship between Loki and Sylvie. You needed to make it believable that they would kind of fall for each other. So they dedicated a whole episode of them together going through this, life or death situation. Nobody was enchanted. I still liked episode 3. Anyone have final thoughts on it before we move on to episode 4?
I'm still good with the way it was.
I still dislike it, honestly. I feel like everything, what you're stating is right. We needed to have that relationship, but you could have easily done 20 minutes of that. And then the other 20 minutes was them going back to the TVA and developing that. I feel like they just dragged we're making a relationship out.
Little too cheesy for me. Like there's just
Yeah.
too much. Like Loki's now super overpowered, can lift buildings. What's that now? I mean, I don't know. I think that it was wasted potential.
Well, I did watch a couple of videos where they showed Loki do something like that inside the same prison that we were talking about in Thor: The Dark World, where he kind of like psi blasted everything away from him. But anyway, and yeah, they could have did it in 20 minutes. They made bad Loki from Avengers 1 right after the Battle of New York into a good guy in less than 20 minutes by watching the film reel. So yeah, anyway, moving on. So episode 4, this is the Nexus event.
Wait,
We
couldn't
start.
they have just done that again? Hey, look at this timeline. You two got together. Oh, that should be a thing. Let's do that.
And then they gaze into each
Loki
other's
looked
eyes.
So bad, man. Like so many stupid moves that he made in that episode. Like he's cunning, he's mischievous, he thinks stuff out. Like that's his main. That's what makes him cool.
Yeah,
Right?
he's not
he's a
being
bumbling-
worried.
He's a
Pocket and
bumbling
his hat
buffoon.
on it. Whoopsies. You know?
Yeah, Robbie.
But
So
we've
hope
also
they go back
never
and
seen
clean
him
that
fall
up.
for anyone. Maybe she's throwing him off because she's digging him, or he's digging her.
That's
he's
true.
feeling
I don't
himself.
know. I hope they clean it up, like Benny said last time I was watching you guys. I really hope they clean it up because she fell asleep on the train. I just feel like if there's not more to that, that was just probably the sloppiest episode of Disney Plus yet. Yeah,
Ooh.
I
There
don't
were
get
some
it. It
bad
doesn't make
Falcon Winter
sense.
Soldier episodes.
Mike, how do you feel about the nobody was enchanted? Because that theory went way out the window, right?
I'm wondering. Well, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. At this point, I'm just like, okay, Marvel Disney Plus is a product. It's a thing. It's a product that Disney has provided that we would not have gotten otherwise. And in
So
that
shut up
light,
and enjoy it.
it's great. I know, but I'm serious because like when I go and watch a new Marvel movie like Black Widow, and like thinking about how much shorter amount of time that film was versus how much these shows are. Comicstorian's completely right, by the way. What's up, bro? They've got the pacing so fucked up in these shows. And I gave WandaVision, we all gave WandaVision the pass, right? Because of the COVID and the post-production. They cut, great. And Falcon and the Winter Soldier, okay, I was with it. And then this one, and I'm just like, the editing could have been cleaned up between episode 3 and 4 to make 2/3 of an episode. So a whole third of an episode between 3rd and 4 was fucking filler. And this is my problem with Game of Thrones was you could tell that the writing was George R. Martin infused for the first couple of seasons as he was helping them pace. And as soon as George R. Martin was like, okay, you guys are on your own, write this stuff. And I actually like Michael Waldron. I think he does a great job. I really like the writing on Rick and Morty. I actually enjoy the dialogue on Loki a lot. But the pacing, like the storyboard of the episodes on Disney Plus, guys, they have got to figure this out. Because I would actually rather 3 amazing episodes that are an hour and a half long than the crap that they're doing right now. Because we didn't need like 1/3 of the last 2 episodes.
Well, I will say it seems like they're forcing episodes.
Yeah,
Great.
they're making long movies, but they're trying to make it episodic, and they fill it up because of that. I think.
I think they got two.
Did you have something?
I'm sorry.
Gary?
Me?
Yeah, or was that an old?
No. I said I'm sitting there going. Does anyone else looking while we're talking at Michael Roman, just thinking that he knows more than all of us?
I don't know. He just said
not.
he's like
I
done
really
with
think
Disney Plus. You
I
see
feel
it?
like I'm like the least knowledgeable person in this entire group.
I
I
feel-
know, honestly. Maybe
listen,
not about
you're-
the
I'm gonna
MCU,
look-
but the comics for sure.
Look back, but look back, and as we're all talking, I like how you just sit there like this, going, "Yeah, I know something they don't know."
I agree. No, trust me. I feel like a lot of people feel this way. I really do. I've seen like comments just in my own stream, and a lot of people are just like, "What the hell, man?" Stuff.
Yeah, Mike does the live watch parties. I caught like a second of it. I think for this one, was it Tuesday night, right? Like right, midnight or whatever. All right, so let's move into this. So let's start off with episode 4. We start off in Asgard. We start off in Sylvie's Asgard, and we see her as a little kid. She's playing with toys. I know there's kind of like these meanings for all these toys she's playing with. Not really that important. But the TVA shows up, Renslayer as a Minuteman, which I kind of liked. I liked how she was, because now she's Judge Renslayer. So she was A23, which we've seen how many of those on Very Gary's live auction with the Avengers 23 first appearance of Renslayer. They come in there. They basically say there's a variant. She casts a Nexus event, so they kidnap female Loki. Boom, out of there.
Great shot of Asgard too. It's nice seeing a different perspective of a place we've been to before.
It was like from behind Asgard, right? Or
Yeah, you see a lot more.
Yep.
So my question before you move on, I know I'm interrupting, but sorry about that.
Please do.
What? Obviously, something happened there that they came and got her.
Well, that's what
Right?
I was going to get into that, but I think later on we get the answer as to why. Was it necessarily something she would do, or was it her existing? And it kind of seems like the latter. And we could probably elaborate a little bit more on that later.
Yeah, then I'll wait.
She's committing crimes against the sacred timeline. So then we fast forward, we get Renslayer again, and she is meeting with the Timekeepers. I was shocked. I said in last stream, so I was kind of wrong, but I was kind of right. But we see the Timekeepers. We see their silhouettes. They have glowing red eyes. I didn't think we were going to even see that. I was kind of like, dang, this episode is going to be crazy, man. What did you guys think when you first saw the Timekeepers?
They were scary as hell, weren't they?
At first, I thought we weren't going to see them again. I thought that was it. Boom, done.
No, I knew that. Come on. But
No,
my
I mean like
question is,
later episodes. This
Oh,
episode, I
okay.
didn't think we'd see them again.
why did she seem nervous to you guys as well? Like,
Yes.
what's
Yeah.
going on?
She was
Like,
about to
does
get
she
reamed
not
out.
know?
She was about to see the big boss, and she was about to get reamed out for losing both variants.
She seems sincere that she wanted to die. She's like, just do it. You know,
At the
there's
very end, yeah.
Well, at the end, yeah. Well, I mean, we can get into that real quick. Shout out to Tom Keel with the $5 super chat. He says if they don't invest all this time character building, the viewers that aren't so into comics might get lost. It's good and it helps build the story. I can get with you behind that.
I can understand that too. Think about it. We've seen Loki for how many movies over how many years? We know him. We
He's
don't know
developed.
Sylvie.
Right.
I get it.
Well, I mean, I was going to say this earlier, not to divert from the episode, but I think that the Disney Plus stuff has two things that are going to go good for it going forward. Number one, they're going to learn a little bit from what they've done in the first few series, and the other series that we're going to get are for new characters, where these episodic things can work for them because they got to build these characters up, and we got to learn their origin stories, like Miss Marvel, Moon Knight, things like that. I think that'll work a lot better for new characters. So,
Well, you guys were talking about Disney Plus shows as a whole. We got to remember too that everything we're watching, we mostly know all these characters, right? When we
right.
start getting those Miss Marvels and those Moon Knights and those She-Hulks and those, the shows like that, that we may see something a little different.
But see, here's the problem. Here's the issue I have right now with just to go with all what you said, Jem, for the beginning of this, and that complaint right there about building up these characters. My problem with episode 3 is Sylvie can be interesting, but 3 did nothing. It didn't build her up. I understand we need to build up these characters, but all she did was vaguely be like, well, I had a mom. Well, something happened. Well, here's how
Zero
enchanting
agency.
works. Yeah, she didn't
Zero agency.
She didn't give anything.
She didn't give us anything, yeah.
Like, if she spent the whole episode giving us her backstory, doing an origin, explaining why she doesn't like to be a Loki, like, you could have spent episode 3 building up this character, and then 4 have all those other reveals.
I'm with you on that.
Instead, they put everything into 4. And also, I just want to say, if her entire motivation is, as a child, they showed up, and now for the last 30 years, I've been running away, and now I'm in love with the other Loki, like, that just, there's, like, nothing to her.
And we don't see anything that she's gone through, what happened during those 30 years, how was life running and hiding.
Yeah.
She did mention, like, she figured out everywhere she was going, she was causing a Nexus event until she figured out the apocalypse thing. And that's how she got past that. Now, here's another weird thing.
Episode 3 explained more Loki than Sylvie. And
Well,
we
check this
do
out.
know Loki in the MCU. That's not even like, oh, you got to explain him. We have movies.
So how the hell did she believe that the temp pad was out of juice or broken? She, for 30 years, has been using a temp pad. Has she been charging it? That's kind of like a weird plot point.
She has, because she said she knows how to
Cheap
charge it,
power
you know.
source.
Yeah, she must
something
have
like
been,
that. Okay, that makes sense. All right, so anyway, Mobius, he's waiting outside the office for his boss is getting reamed out by her bosses, the timekeeper. She basically says, yeah, they're pissed. And Mobius starts questioning her about C-20, the soldier that Sylvie kidnapped and enchanted her. And she came back saying, it's real. And we'll talk about what was real later on. But she already is acting shady. When Mobius is questioning her about C-20, she's like, she's dead. She got worse. And he's just not buying it. So we're already starting to see cracks in the TVA and Renslayer's story with that.
I just got to say, thank God for Owen Wilson. Like, he is by far the best performer in this entire show. And every bit with him blows me away. When something that later on you'll get to happens, it just broke my heart, but hopefully...
I agree.
There's
He's
plenty
incredible.
more.
They never kill him.
Yeah. He's the best character.
That's Tom's fault. I think
It's
that's
like they
all
pulled-
Tom's fault.
They
He
pulled
was-
like the Luke Cage. They killed the best character like way too soon.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But
Well,
like,
we don't know if he's dead, right?
Yeah,
He's still around. He's
And
still
there's
around.
other
That
ones.
we're almost
There's
it's
other
almost
versions.
guaranteed he's still around with how they ended the
Yeah.
episode. But still, come on, really, just he's been in 2 episodes and then like a fourth of this one.
And he was sorely missed from episode 3. That's another thing where that was kind of a little off. Yeah, anytime he's on screen, it's just like you want to hear what he has to say. And there's so many great scenes in this episode.
those moments of concern where he's like, "But what really happened? Why won't you tell me?" And he's questioning what the TVA is telling him. That to me is the most compelling part of Loki. Period. So far.
And I think we called that on the episode 1 breakdown that Loki's probably going to get to Mobius and get him to start questioning the TVA. And that's really what brings the TVA down here. So anyway, we go back. Speaking of Loki and Sylvie, we go back to Lamentus 1. We see them. Death is imminent. They do a big CGI scene. It was a little cheesy, but at the same time, this is not a big budget movie. So they had the whole moon crashing into the planet thing. There's no way to get off the planet. Loki apologizes. Sylvia finally opens up a little bit, talks about being in Asgard, talking about the universe wants to break free, so it manifests chaos, which is how she, that's why she was born, the universe wanting to break free. And I think we mentioned it earlier, that in itself was what she did. She was born because the universe wants to break free. So that's kind of the explanation of why the TVA grabbed her and tried to arrest her and all of that.
But I think it's interesting because that's basically, I think, letting you know that whoever's pulling the strings here doesn't want that to happen. They have this one time stream that they want it to be for a reason. So we don't know who that is yet or why that is. So, I mean, we'll get to who we think at the end.
I also feel like they're leaving these enormous explanations unexplained. So, like, we know what a variant is veering off of the proper flow of time, but they just showed us in Asgard where there's a Sylvie. And according to the timeline in the MCU, there's no fucking Sylvie. So what is that? Is that the multiverse?
Yes.
And if it is,
right.
So,
it is.
So I said in episode 1 that even though it was woven together, it looked like the multiverse still existed. So it wasn't just one timeline now with no multiverse. There's still a multiverse. It just all has to happen as they want. So there are these alternate, but like that's a huge thing to like not even acknowledge. Like give us one of your quippy Rick and Morty explanations. Like you just acknowledged it's there, but you're like not talking about it. And I'm sorry, like the lay fan isn't going to be able to keep up. If they're just assuming that someone's going to be able to fill in the blanks here with the multiverse, they're fucking wrong, man.
Well, I think that's why we're going to get a big info dump in the next issue because this one ends with them saying,
"Oh, great, another episode 3! Heck yeah! Sit around and talk. Fuck yeah!"
The reason why I say it's a multiverse because Sylvie tells a story that they took her and they destroyed her reality when they dropped the I forgot what they called the little canister.
I think that she meant metaphorical reality, just resetting what her toys were because that's what they showed us on screen. You might be right, not like resetting the whole reality.
They're pruning everything. Yeah,
she wasn't supposed to have Legos. It was Mega Blocks.
Right.
Correct.
The correct timeline.
100%.
Just like I think Matt said it, but there's one timeline that somebody wants,
right?
And they're just pruning everything that veers off in any kind of way.
And now we don't know what pruning. We don't know what pruning really means anymore, right? We don't know if they're just dumping all these variants onto this one plane or this one planet, and maybe it's just a planet of all these variants, or this time slip of time stream, whatever you want to call it, but clearly something.
Disconnected timeline.
Right.
Because you see,
maybe that's limbo. Maybe that's limbo.
Right. Did they ever explain the red lines above and below?
That's where they say that's where it gets like to the point where
the point of not being able to reset. But it's all propaganda anyway. Remember, it's all propaganda.
Yeah.
I like to go through there and nothing happens. It's like
nothing. It's true. Nothing. The natural state is the multiverse, I think, and the idea of the villain is trying to keep it into one because.
Right.
For some reason.
You know what I think they should do, dear Marvel? Hire the 8 of us to write a show for you.
The Illuminati.
Fuck that shit up.
Illuminati.
You know we would.
We really would, man.
I'm bringing
Batman
here, baby. I want He-Man in here.
People be like, why is Night Thrasher in there?
God damn it. Gary says he wants He-Man in there the very first thing, and the whole thing gets shut down. Man,
We're done. It's
right
over.
on the edge.
Get this guy out of here.
Man, Jesus Christ.
Multiverse. There could be anything out there.
He said the multiverse.
Do you think it's a plot hole, or do you think they purposely did this? Like, what happened to the chaos from episode 3? Like, did they close all of those Nexus events that were happening? I mean, how did they get in front of all those? Because that was supposed to be like the big plot that just took down the TVA, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, don't worry, that's not actually happening.
I thought that's
I forgot all about that.
Yeah,
I thought that's where it was.
It's nothing that that the Minutemen could have stopped. It's not like they went to fight somebody. She literally sent the charges that deleted those realities, right? So.
Well, the intent is to just send out the Minutemen. It's not. It's all a focus to get all the Minutemen out so they can get access to the TVA. They weren't trying to cause a Nexus event, not a Nexus event, but what would be leading to get everybody out. Side note, as far as acknowledging things here, is this a good? I can't remember at what point this happened in the show, but vampires were absolutely confirmed.
I got it in my notes. I got it in my notes. We'll talk about it.
Okay, it's coming.
So anyway, they're on Lamentus. At the same time, Mobius is tasked to find the variants. That's what Renslayer tells him. And it's B50, right? That's the other Minutemen's name?
B15, I think.
15.
B15. She asks about is there any news on C20? So you got 2 agents of the TVA wanting to know what's up with C20. We go back, we see the moon crashing into the planet. Sylvie asks Loki if Lokis are destined to lose, and he says, nah, we're survivors. So he talks about how she nearly took down the TVA and how amazing she is. And I think that's the point where he realizes, damn, I'm kind of digging this chick, man. So that moment, moment right there, as he's gazing into her eyes, that's what starts.
Did I miss the rom-com music? Is that what kicked off right there? You know,
well, I think it's when she touched him.
Yeah, they started holding hands.
Yeah, did you notice how the line started rising when
Maybe
she touched
real
him?
hard.
He was like, I've never been touched by a woman.
Gary.
It caused the
Gary.
branch to spike straight up, which seemed excessive compared to other branches that we've seen, right? They kind of gradually go up. So this one caused a major Nexus event. TVA is able to find them, and we find out nobody was being enchanted, and they were saved. How we said we don't want them to be saved at the end of episode 3. But like Gary said, they didn't just find them and save them. They caused this Nexus event, name of the episode. They said the name. What's that thing when they say the name of the movie in the movie? Anyway.
Family Guy.
By the way, that did save the episode. I will say that was a big deal, because if they did just show up, I thought that would have been cheesy.
Right. Okay. Yeah, me too. That would have been like too convenient, but they triggered something that made them find them, right? So I was with that too. And don't even think about how time works, because technically they could have gone back at any point of time at Lamentis and saved them. But anyway, we don't, that's not really important.
Yeah, why did they show up at the very last possible moment?
They could have showed up at any time, but I guess that's how they figured out they were on Lamentis. Anyway, Loki and Sylvie,
let's not lament this, okay?
They're getting brought in by the TVA. Funny enough,
I'm gonna go cry in the shower
with the joke that bomb. No, Sylvie has more security than Loki. I thought that was funny, and then Loki even brings it up a little bit later. So I don't know. That was something I wrote down. I thought it was funny. Mobius calls him a bad friend. That seems to be the only thing that really hurt Loki in their interaction, when he's kind of like, you're not even the god of mischief. You're just an asshole. You're just a bad friend. So that's what ends up causing the whole get thrown into the time cell scenario where we meet Lady Sif. So the only thing here is that Loki just manages to blurt out, the TVA is lying to you. I was like, tell him that he's a variant. Tell him that you're all variants. Like, tell him everything right now. But he just gets out, the TVA is lying to you. Okay, very vague, whatever. He gets thrown into the time cell.
That's how TV shows work. You never get to the point. It'd be like, I call you today, Jem, we really need to talk. We're talking right now. I know. I'll call you back in an hour. Like,
Dave Cerrone says, with a $5 super chat, if your Nexus event lasts more than 4 hours, call a doctor. Strange. That was a good one. Okay, better than Mike's joke.
That was good.
Better than poor Mike. He's lamenting over that joke. Leave him be.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I thought it was funny. I love cheesy jokes.
I'm already past that. You guys are living too much in 1983.
Well, time passes differently. Time passes differently here, Mike. Come on.
Soaking it up with my soulmate.
All right, so we get the Lady Sif scene. So it just replays this scenario where he cut her hair and she runs up to him and she knees him in the groin, punches him in the face, tells him that he deserves to be alone and he always will be. And basically this just resets in a loop, which has got to hurt after a while. So we're in the time loop there with Loki, while Mobius, talking to Renslayer again, he wants to interrogate Sylvie, but she won't let him, again acting shady. She won't let him get near him. She's kind of trying to say, she's too dangerous. Work on your Loki. Focus on interrogating your Loki. This is where Mobius tells B-15 that, hey, we've brought in Kree, we've brought in Titans, we've brought in vampires. So definitely planting the seeds for Blade, right? Maybe Werewolf by Night, Moon Knight, things of that nature.
Dracula, baby.
They kind of did this with back in the day. Was it Captain America Winter Soldier, when they kind of name dropped? Yeah, we know about other enhanced people. We got Stephen Strange, and they kind of like dropped a little something, a little Easter egg there. So yeah, we're gonna get vampires. We kind of knew that. So this is the first mention of vampires in the MCU, I would think.
Does anyone think it's weird that we heard vampires before mutants?
But they're saving that one, man.
We heard vampires in Korg. We heard vampires in Thor Ragnarok.
Eternals. Eternals. Come on.
Yeah, Korg asks Thor about using a
and
then says it would only be good. I mean, it was a double joke too, because he directed What We Do in the Shadows, so it was a 3 vampire joke. But I mean, he's acknowledging vampires in the MCU. It's good.
Told you
that's like Inception level
big
shit.
brain on Mike.
I told you,
Yo.
Michael Roman knows more than all of us.
No,
Good call, Mike. I stand-
that's why I'm
I stand
saying with our
corrected.
powers combined, we need to write a series.
See, I would
If
have put
we
Blade and
wrote
Loki.
Secret
That's where I
Wars,
would've
y'all
gone.
know that shit would be lit as fuck. I'm just saying. Oh, monetized. I'm sorry, man.
Nah, it's all good. So we go back to Loki. Loki admits his shortcomings to Lady Sif. She doesn't hit him this time, but she says, "You are alone. You'll always be. You always will be." And that seems to kind of stick with him a little bit, and that, I guess, it's some foreshadowing for later on. And that's when Mobius takes him out, or he shows up, and then he takes him out to interrogate him. So this scene is like they're basically lying to each other. He lies to Loki and says that Sylvie has already been pruned. Loki lies to him and tries to take the blame and say, "Hey, I was the mastermind behind this whole thing." And Mobius figures out that Loki fell for himself, and that's how the Nexus event started. And it's a closed case. That's basically all that Mobius.
Can we
needs
also
of.
say there's a
the
major plot
credits
hole
roll.
here? I'd like to point it out. Major
Let's hear it.
plot hole.
Please do.
Loki specifically asks Sylvie about past lovers. She asks him. He admits there's a bit of both, and then says, "I assume that's the same for you." So it's setting up that they have a sexual history, that they have been hooking up with people through the ages. We also know they're thousands of years old. Him falling for Sylvie only works if it's like the first time he's been exposed to love, which is almost how they're playing it and writing it in the series, because presumably he's had a ton of partners. Like, this is nothing new. He would just want to, what I'm saying is he would want to get down and have sex. It wouldn't be like the type of love that you would expect to create a Nexus event. I don't care about if they had spent a whole series building these two out. It's still hard to believe.
So you're
So
not
there's a
buying
huge
it.
plot hole created here by like, you know that they've had love before of all kinds, but like Sylvie's the one. He really loves her. Come on, man.
Yeah, but
But
hold on. Is it like that Romeo and Juliet? Like it's not supposed to happen kind of thing?
See, what if it's like more like
He
Yeah,
just realizes how weird this is and he's for it.
well, no, what if he just realizes that what if it's not a sexual thing? Because if it is, I think it's dumb, right?
No,
But, like,
I
if
agree
it-
with you 100%.
what
right?
if it's like that he actually genuinely cares whether somebody lives or dies, and it's himself that he cares about that for the first time?
PC, but did they sell that in an? Do you believe he does that? That happens like
I think that's given the MCU too much credit. I definitely think he
Well-
wants to bang her, right?
Well,
like,
right,
so-
right, that's what I'm saying.
As
Mephisto.
far as relationship stuff goes with Loki, we learned something really big in this, and that he is a terrible person. He cut this person's hair, this woman's hair that he was with, and got put into this like prison because to relive that experience because it was a terrible one. If he's willing to do something like that, it puts some perspective on the situation that he's just a terrible person in the relationship.
Was that terrible though?
It could have been worse. He could have
it was
taped
a
some
joke.
dude's
He cut her
cheeks
hair.
together.
It was a joke, right?
I mean, you can go on
you
YouTube
can
and there's
imagine.
there's all
It's a
kinds
crime.
of
Her
buzz
hair.
spreads.
Come on.
Yeah, you can't cut someone's hair though. That's kind of messed up though.
He's willing
Yeah, I
to
definitely
assault
think
somebody
I
he's with. Maybe this one is someone he doesn't feel like he wants to assault.
It is nice to see Sif back, but it sucks that like they bring her back for like this little tiny bit. You know,
Yeah.
it's like, bro, really? Like this is it? Like, come on.
She
Like,
literally
we
said
could
the
use some of this
same
shit.
line for like
Over
2
and
minutes. Yeah.
Can you come back? Just say one line a whole bunch of times.
You get to
I'm with
punch.
Tom
You can
Keogh.
punch Tom Hiddleston.
It does make sense because Loki is self-centered. Of course, he would be in love with himself. Like that makes sense to me. That more so than if it was just just some other person that he met. But it's
But
himself.
it's gotta be true love, Jim. It's gotta be like genuine care, not just like banging, right?
Yo,
It's gotta be
shit.
more
Nick,
than
what's
that.
up, bro?
Big shout out to Nick Barucci over at Dynamite Entertainment, sending a little love to Jem and the team from your friends at Dynamite. Love these recap shows, love the passion and back and forth. Everyone hit that like button. Happy 4th for sure, man. Nick, we appreciate
Thanks,
you as
Nick.
always, sir.
Absolutely, man.
Nick,
Thanks
I
a lot,
appreciate
bro.
you, brother.
So during this interrogation, Loki finally comes out and tells him that they're all variants. They're not created by the timekeepers. Sylvie can access suppressed memories when she enchants people, and he believes her. Now you can tell Mobius kind of it sits with him for a little bit, and then he tries to brush it off because it's Loki. You can't just take everything at face value, especially or even when you think it's going to be misdirection like episode 3, and you could have took it at face value. That's the genius of Loki. So anyway, Loki leaves off by saying,
the
"Listen."
genius of 3. Yeah, I got you.
Loki leaves off
3
saying-
was secretly a genius. Jem said it.
No, what I'm saying is though, it makes you question yourself. Is this misdirection or is this just face value? You don't know until you get the answer in the next episode. So
Does
there's a
anyone
level
think
of Lokiness to that.
Do you think they're aiming the Disney Plus shows to like not the hardcore MCU fans, but more or less trying to bring in a new fan base that are just like,
bro,
so
you gotta make it universal no matter what you do. They have to have a balance of you. Maybe somebody didn't see all 23 or 24 movies, you know, and you gotta walk that line.
That's why, and that's why I feel like that's why they're trying to wrap these shows up, because they're cognizant that some of the people who are sitting on their couch watching this won't make their way to the movies, which is crazy. It's crazy because now it's on Disney Plus too. But yeah.
No, I mean, if you look at the entire MCU since the beginning, like, because I've had this argument a ton of times, they've never cared about the comic reader. They nod to us that we exist, but they've never cared all the way back to the Iron Man Mandarin reveal.
So true.
It's whatever makes a good and fun movie to them. And if that happens to line up with your comic book portrayal, cool. If it happens to line up with an Easter egg, even better, because you guys are all going to freak out and make a video with 8 people talking about it.
Yeah, but I mean, so the MCU's
parameters around it too. Like, you can't do too much in these shows. So some of these big reveals that I think we're all hoping for, it feels like, well, they can't show too much because they got to save it for the movie. Yeah. So now it's like a WWE type of thing. You got to wait for the pay-per-view event to actually see what's going to happen.
Yeah, but you're not going to pay Jonathan Majors to be on the show, right? So.
Even the movie videos don't go that deep.
Can I just interrupt everyone to say that y'all got some really cool stuff behind you? I finally made this big screen. I'm seeing Fantastic Four #1 up here in the right corner. We got Journey into Mystery. Y'all got some dope stuff, man. Holy hell.
Do you like my doors?
Yeah, I really like your doors. It's a really cool, it's a really cool door that you have there.
Benny, Tom Keo for $5 wants to know, who hurt you? Why are you so angry?
Loki episode 3. That's what hurt me.
We're all gonna leave 2 hours from now. Comicstorian's just going to be here by himself, screaming at the screen. There's no one watching. Live
Old man yells at cloud.
But I mean, just an example.
You guys don't think we're going to start getting some big reveals in this Disney Plus series? Like, where are they going to bring in all these characters?
Well, Feige said that
you have to bring them in somewhere.
Feige said that you don't have to watch these shows to understand it. And if you get it, like the last time we saw Wanda, she was sad that Vision was dead and she was losing it. That's where she ended up. Right?
There we go.
We knew that Sam was going to be Captain America. That's where it ended up. You don't need to watch these to get. That's the idea. There are 2 different audiences. They're trying to pull this Netflix couch surfing kind of crowd, and maybe it's not the movie crowd anymore. I don't know. It's all different now.
But let's
they got to come together at some point. We got new characters coming.
We thought that about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's what I was just going to say. We're getting way more connection than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had, even though I know that got better or whatever, but this feels way more
Wait, hold on. Even though I know that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had some good seasons, even though I didn't see it, a lot of the fan base says that's where we're setting the bar.
Setting the bar. I hope not. No, you know what? You're right. You're right. We're not going to set the bar there. The bar is set at Inhumans. Inhumans is the best show.
So Nola Nerf for $2 has the 12-year-old joke. The line roast fat. Yeah, we got it.
It's Inhumans have.
I'll tell you this much. We spoke to so much about episode 4. I really want to know what Benny's theory on episode 3. Did you enjoy episode 3?
Don't wind him up again.
Speaking of episode 3, my main man Hino with the $5 says he wants your better rate bill, Mike, and he also says Owen Wilson has he has these last 2 episodes. He'll be in them according to IMDb. So good.
We have discovered IMDb is infallible. They are never wrong.
Jem reviewed this exact statue. So if you somehow haven't seen that on his channel and you like this, Jem did a full review on this one.
I'll tell you, Mike bought the statue, had it shipped to me so I could review it, and then I shipped to him. So appreciate that again, man. That was good looking out. All right. So anyway, we're being interrogated. At the end of the interrogation, Loki says, the TVA is full of liars, and you're the biggest liar. Mobius wants to know why. He says, it's the lies that you tell yourself. That was pretty interesting. Outside, B-15 seems conflicted outside of Sylvie's cell. She goes in there. She opens a time door and says, come with me. They're off. At this point, we don't know where the hell they're going. Then we're back with Renslayer. Mobius and her are celebrating, closing the case. Although Mobius doesn't really seem too thrilled about it. He asks her why he couldn't interrogate Sylvie. She basically says, hey, she would have escaped. He says, why do you say that? Well, the fact that she's escaped so many times before. And I guess we didn't really mention earlier, but how easy did Sylvie escape as a kid from Renslayer? That had to be embarrassing as hell.
I was going to say, did she let her go?
I'm just gonna say, kids get away super easy. They're kind of slippery. They get into things. I actually have like 7 kids, and I don't know where they are. They just all walked out the door. They're just gone. So I get it. I get
will
Red
answer
Slayer.
this one.
Big Will Comics for $5. I'm kind of with you there. I think I mentioned this on Gary's channel when we were doing WandaVision. Like, I don't think anything life shattering is going to happen on Disney
Well,
Plus.
I wholeheartedly disagree.
Mobius. I mean, we'll see.
Disagree.
We'll see.
I agree with Gary.
Boys, I gotta go pick my brother up from the airport. Jen, thank you for having
Thank
me.
you for coming on,
guys,
brother.
you guys are awesome. I look forward to this next week. I have high hopes for episode 5.
Yeah,
I
we're
love
looking
you,
forward to it.
Prism.
Much
Hey,
love to
hey,
Jen
hey.
family and everybody. I love
No,
you guys.
yeah,
I'll see you next time.
Michael, quick
Yo.
rating. What's the rating with the episode, real quick?
Oh yeah, right.
Nice, Tom. Thank you. Being on point.
Someone's running the show.
We didn't get Mike's rating from last episode either. Episode 3.
Episode 3 is a 6. Episode 4 is a 6.5.
Wow,
Ooh,
not that much better. Wow.
Ooh.
I got to say, I disagree.
Guys,
but
I'm
okay.
a hard grader. It's got to be great to go over like 8 or 9. Like it's got to be great. And
See, I'm the
10 is
opposite.
like the highest. Oh, you are. Jen's like everything at 10. 9.5.
I love everything.
I love it.
It's hard for me not to give everything a 10. Episode 3, I was like, yeah, this is maybe an 8. Like, I don't remember what it
Well,
was,
it's
but
just different scales. All right, I love you guys.
I
gotta go to
get
the
your
airport.
brother. Peace
Later,
out.
brother.
Thanks.
Can we
but
go
you
back
wanna
to
talk
Disney
about-
Plus comment just for 1
Well,
second?
let's real quick to Twitch for $5. What do you say? Wasn't there a line in episode 1 about not being able to come in contact with yourself without causing something to happen?
Love is what happens.
It'll
Well,
cause
you-
a Nexus
she
event.
touched him in the last episode. There was no Nexus event.
Every
That's
time
true.
a woman touches me, there's a Nexus event for me. So
Oh,
I don't know about you.
oh, boy.
It's
Hey, you know what's
fun.
funny?
It's a real-
Somebody
all
had to go there,
realities.
Benny. I appreciate it.
Fallen
I
Hero
got
for
you. I got the mind
$5.
of a 16-year-old.
Oh
Fallen,
my God, it is.
Fallen
The
Hero for
problem
$5.
is it always gets pruned.
And Fee texted me the same thing. She'll probably tell you in the chat. She texted me the same thing. My son just pointed out that your outfit finally matches your logo. He always asks why you're wearing different shirts and bandanas in every video.
Finally, huh? Can we?
All right.
I got to get on this Disney Plus thing.
All right,
I
go ahead,
think
please.
Disney Plus is going to have major events and already has, and I'm going to go all the way back to WandaVision. Matt, you know what I'm going to say? The Dark Hold.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And the
That's a
multiverse.
major thing.
And the multiverse we know is going to be in Doctor Strange. They're setting that up in Loki, right?
Absolutely. You also have
Counterpoint,
Scarlet Witch,
Gary.
White Vision. These are major characters.
Benny's got some for you.
Counterpoint. The Darkhold is so insignificant, it's been reinvented from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. over to WandaVision.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
He's
is
right.
trash.
You know what that means? Agents.
He's right.
All that means is Agents of Shield meant nothing. That's what it
Nothing.
means.
No,
All
it
it
brought
means
us
is,
Ghost
yo,
Rider, and
nothing.
I'll take it to my grave.
That wasn't the Ghost Rider. I'm
They
sorry.
just
You got
they just need a
Ghost
magic
Rider.
book. What's the Marvel magic book? The Darkhold. Write that in. That's all they did there. You
Yeah,
just
I
need a
remember
magic-
Principal
Let's-
Defects and
turned
Gary. You guys were getting some slack for the Darkhold because it already did show up. I saw people saying that.
But
it
we
showed
were
up in
right.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D..
But we were right.
But it ain't the first appearance in MCU, right? Or
Well, it's our first experience in the MCU because Agents of Shield ain't MCU. So.
is it though? It has Phil Coulson. It's a
Nope,
Wonderful
they
Place.
said it ain't canon.
Tahiti.
Feige
It's not
said
canon,
it's
right?
not canon.
It's not
Nope.
canon,
canon,
only because
Jim.
they've removed it from the timeline after 7 seasons. Come on.
Dude, the TVA did that. That's what happened. That's what this
Oh,
whole
they
thing's
reset
about.
the timeline.
Oh, they just booped it with that grenade thing. Like, boop. All right, Agent Shield is gone. Let's go to the next
Do you
one.
think
Don't
that
sleep on
Wonder
the
will come back
Darkhold.
evil? We'll
Don't
say just
sleep
go-
on the Darkhold.
Michael, the Beast, Benston Comics for $5 says he agrees with Gary, Jem, and Matt. Darkhold, same as Cat. Multiverse, pretty big to me. Yeah,
You got-
yeah.
Officially have a Scarlet Witch. Yes, you have a White Vision, but we don't know how significant or insignificant that is. We still have Agatha, who is still around. I think the Disney Plus shows have made a big impact. We just don't know how big yet because we're still waiting on the movies.
And it was Agatha
don't-
all along.
And don't forget, we don't know how this is going to end.
True.
What if Agatha's the next Thanos? I'm
That's
down for
whack.
that.
Whack.
Yeah, I
Hino
agree.
for
I agree.
$5 says, speaking of WandaVision, have you seen that since Loki released, there's been an invisible
Yes.
cloaked figure in the Wanda end credit scene?
They redid
yeah.
that whole scene. Yeah, it's
redid
weird.
it.
Yep.
They redid the whole
Dave,
thing.
I've already done all the research on this and did an entire clickbait episode myself. It is in fact a digital mistake made by adding in trees. We don't know why they
That's
did it.
so funny.
It's all it is.
That's
Digital.
so
Benny, you
funny.
ruined it for me. God damn it, Benny.
I'm sorry,
would they
it's
do
Doctor
that?
Strange. It's Doctor Strange.
Does anyone else
All
think
right,
Benny's
cool.
just a dream squasher over here? I mean, it's one thing after
I think Benny's a
another.
realist. He's been in this game too long to be fooled by these simple tactics. Back at Renslayer's office, basically, this is where we get the first time what am I saying? Anyway, Renslayer asked Mobius where he would like to go if he could go anywhere in time. He says, I mean, we can go anywhere in time. And she's like, no, really, man. He says something pretty sappy, like right here with you, which made me think, like, did they have a bigger relationship until the end of this conversation? And I'm like, oh, Renslayer just friend zoned him like really, really hard. She just wants to make sure nothing happens to her best friend. So that was kind of the end of that conversation. Now they do talk about C20 again, and she basically just tries to brush it off. You can tell she's acting shady about what happened to her. And when she puts up, oh, go ahead, Robbie.
Well, I was going to say, I think he friend zoned her because she was all like, you mean just one drink? She was trying to lube him up, man. You know,
because usually he's trying to hang around, man. He's trying to knock down multiple drinks. But then when she puts up the blade on her trophy stand, he swaps the temp pads, and then he hits her with the "I got to work early in the morning."
Yeah,
line,
I know, but she was hurt by that. Let me just say, we've all had to go there.
I know
sometimes.
She was unbuttoned and shit. Come on.
I felt like it was more. He was acting out of character.
I gotta work in the morning. I really.
I gotta wash my hair. My hair's a mess.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
So then we're back to B15. B15 took Sylvie to Rock's cart, which Rock's Mart would have been so much better, but it definitely says Rock's cart. She takes her to that apocalyptic event where Sylvie enchanted her and shown her what we can now assume is a glimpse of her previous life before the TVA, like she did to C20. So a very touching scene in the rain. She's crying in the rain, which I kind of thought was a good scene because B15 has been such a hard ass this entire series. So to finally see some humility from her and basically says, oh, I looked happy. What now? So that's going to foreshadow her role later on in the episode.
It's a really cool scene too. I mean, it's like I got some V for Vendetta vibes with the with like the flames, you know, like the rebirth, the rain. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it was
I
a
like
nice
that
scene, man.
though too. I thought that was good.
And
you know, it's funny. I do hope Owen Wilson isn't gone. Mobius isn't gone. Mobius.
Yeah.
Because I do want to see if he's enchanted, and we get to see some of his memories, or he kind of.
First of all, Gary, there's no way this doesn't end with him on a jet ski somewhere. There's no way.
He even said that
With a
as
top
he was vanishing.
If it does, I'm canceling Disney Plus.
I'm
He
going
doesn't
to
get his
hold
jet
you
ski.
to that, Matt. I want to talk to you on a follow-up episode. You're
Benny,
like, I didn't watch it. I don't have Disney Plus.
I will cancel it. I will cancel it and then open it back up under another email. It's okay.
Maddie, we need you to
Text
find
the
out the first appearance of a jet ski in Marvel Comics too.
I mean,
that's
I will
the
do
next
that.
hot book, right? You know,
That's
it's
the
got to
spec
end
book.
with Mobius on a jet ski with Gator Loki, in my opinion.
I
If
will
Gator
find
Loki's
that book.
not the ultimate villain, I don't care. Like, there we go.
He's the
All
master.
right,
I gotta ask you guys too.
Yeah.
A couple things if you notice. So in the office. So wait, I'll do this one first because it's just
seen
funny,
every
right?
episode. I love it. Let's go.
So on the screen there was a Wolverine Easter egg. I don't want to do this, but I have to. It said Alberta, Canada. It said Alberta, Canada.
Is that where Wolverine's
I'm
from?
listening.
I know he's Canadian.
Ah.
Okay, so you know, a little
wait,
something.
hold
You know, I
on.
think it was just a little.
I'm
nod.
just gonna
Everybody
be
needs
the
to-
realist here and ruin another dream for you. Are we just taking
Here
any
it comes.
location ever named as an Easter egg now?
Absolutely.
Alpha
Absolutely.
actually-
Are we going
actually
to
an-
Alpha Flight? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's an
Matt,
alpha flight.
See how
Wolverine
quick we got there?
confirmed.
See how quick we got there? Mephisto. Okay, guys. All right.
I'm
So
just
wait, no,
saying,
so
like, if they
that
go like,
was a
oh,
ju-
it's
I
New
mean-
York, this happened in New York, are you going to be like,
Right,
it's an
right.
Avengers Easter egg and Spider-Man?
Daredevil.
Absolutely.
Hell's
So
Kitchen.
I just thought that was funny. I
Fantastic.
saw it,
Okay, well, hold on,
and
hold
that was-
on. But you're
Yeah,
telling me if they say Hell's Kitchen somewhere that you're not automatically going to think that's a Daredevil Easter egg?
That's
I
all I'm
would.
saying. When I
that's
saw
a
Alberta,
very,
Canada,
that's a very
That's
specific
specific?
thing. Yeah, it's a very
Okay.
specific
All right,
thing.
all right. I'm just
Alberta,
I mean, what
Canada
comes out of
is-
Alberta, Canada?
Besides,
Besides Wolverine.
Bagged milk. I mean,
Anyway,
I think
all
that's a vampire reference.
So-
Blade.
Yeah.
Right? That's
it
what I
could
think.
be.
I'll give
could
it
be.
to
So
him.
serious reference. So in the scene in the office, did you see how Mobius looked at the pen again? Like,
Yes, he did.
why
Yeah.
did he look at the pen again? Like, there's
Was that his
something
pen,
going on
maybe?
there.
The
So
pen
Gary,
There's
reminds
something
did-
going on.
Did you find
He
out
did
Gary
that twice now.
when he wrote with his left hand? Did he also write with his left hand in episode?
No, he was lefty all the
He
way.
was lefty
I
all
did check.
Tom Keogh says for $5, this is the first appearance of Mr. Negative, aka Comicstorian,
Oh, shit.
right here on Jump Channel.
It is the fourth appearance, and I was very positive at episode 1 and 2.
Actually, and you had the other. We did an interview. This is the 5th appearance, so this
All
is
right,
technically
Oh,
not a
there
key.
you go.
All right, so
and then one
Go ahead, Mike.
other
I'm
quick
at-
one. So Did you? This confused me, and this may have just been nothing, right? So on the paper that she makes Mobius sign, it says this is an ex parte motion to stay execution. So usually that has to do with like evicting someone from where they live. But what the hell why did she have him sign something that says that? It doesn't make any sense.
A lot of
like,
X's,
at first I saw
X-Men.
execution. Right. At first I saw X-Men.
The
At first I saw
execution.
execution. And I was like,
Apocalypse
okay,
confirmed.
this is Apocalypse.
Executioner
This is to
song
kill-
confirmed.
Yeah, this is to kill Loki. But then I saw it stay of motion to stay execution. I'm like, why is he signing? Like, what does this mean, and why is he signing it? Again,
Some
I don't
production
know if that-
assistant just grabbed some papers out of his desk.
Right.
It was actually something involving his court case, and he just threw it over.
That may be, and I was just very confused by that. I'm like, this is very strange. So I don't know if that's going to come back into play, but just thought I pointed out. I have no idea what it means. So,
But
So anyway,
Wolverine
sorry,
confirmed
go ahead.
by Matt, right?
Bottom
But
line
Wolverine
is,
confirmed.
this is the
Yeah.
experience of
Write it
Wolverine
down.
in the MCU.
And quote this man.
Mobius, he takes Renslayer's tempad. He kind of ducks off to the library. He looks up C20. He sees like her debriefing where she's basically saying, listen, this enchantment was real. These were real memories. I've been to that place, this and that. And then Renslayer pops her face in there looking suspicious as hell, confirming that Renslayer was lying about what happened to C20 as far as her losing her mind. And also the it was real line that C20 kept on saying when she came back from the enchantment. She saw a glimpse of her life before the TVA and it blew her mind. Mobius comes back to Loki's time cell where he is still getting his ass whooped by Lady Sif. And then he gives him a nice little heartfelt speech. They kind of become friends again. He tells him, hey, you could be anything, man. You could even be good, which, you know, he is good a lot of times in these movies and in the TV show. He even goes out of his way to say that their Nexus event could bring down the whole TVA. So he went from 0 to 60 pretty fast. Now he's down with just bringing down the entire TVA. I thought that was kind of significant, but
Well, I feel like he's had mixed feelings for a few episodes.
yeah, he's
about the
conflicted,
TVA.
a little
There's been
conflicted.
little things that have happened
Yeah.
over the course of these episodes
Stuff's
that
not adding up.
made him
Yeah.
question things. Yeah.
Right. Loki reassures him that the visions were real. He believes Sylvie and that he refers to him as a friend. So that kind of makes up for their little squabble they had outside. So when they come back out of the time cell, Renslayer with some Minutemen are waiting for them. She asks for her temp pad back. Mobius tries to play dumb. It doesn't work. Then he blurts out, you know, the answer to the question she asked him earlier as far as where would he go anywhere in time. He says, hey, I would go back to the life that I had before, the life that the TVA took from me, the life where I may have even had a jet ski. Boom, tears, everybody watching. Everybody felt him. And then Renslayer cold-heartedly gives the order to have him pruned, and they kill. Well, we don't know if that kills him. It doesn't kill him. We do know that. They prune Mobius. He
Wait,
gets
I got a question
Matrixed
for
out.
Does it
everyone
kill
here.
them and they somehow saved Loki? We don't know for certain what.
We
that
don't really
does.
know. As far as what we know, they're deleted. That version of them. So, and especially now knowing that all TVA agents are variants of people that once lived on Earth or wherever, that version of him is gone.
Does
Bro.
anyone else wonder why the temp pads don't have a lock? I mean, our cell phones have a code pad. Like, why can't they have a lock? How many? The little girl steals it.
That's
and
a good
nobody's-
point, Gary.
Good
That's a
question
real
for
good point.
Kang. You know, I wonder when he made these things and set this whole thing up.
Yeah,
You know,
because
He
it's
set
Kang
it
all
up with
along.
Wolverine, and Wolverine just uses his claws. So
Albert.
Wolverine
Alberta.
confirmed.
I have a question. I mean, just to back up like 2 feet. Did we ever see them? Yeah, back up 2 feet. Did we ever see them actually go back into that little room? Like when
Which room?
when Mobius went to grab Loki, right? He went into that little repeated thing that he's getting his nuts
Right.
kicked, right?
Right.
Okay. He goes in there. He says all this stuff to Loki. All we see is them come out of the room.
You think
into
they're
the-
variants?
I mean,
little magic, a little magic.
Listen, Loki can
This
do a
is
little
magic.
magic. Maybe
Yeah.
look, this guy loves magic down here. This guy over here, yeah, him.
Then what
Him.
about the mid-credits scene?
All right.
I don't know.
Real
Wait,
quick,
Jem hasn't
shout out
gotten to that yet, so we're not acknowledging it yet.
Yeah,
Shout out to,
don't acknowledge that.
shout out to Nolan Nerd for the $2 super chat and for the $20 super chat. I saw it. I respect your opinion. It's just not something I wanted to share on my channel, and we're live streaming on Comicstorian's channel. But I do appreciate you. And we do have Ryan Radford for $5. The amount of times I've seen people not use a passcode, you'd be surprised. I can't do that. That's like an OCD thing of mine. Like, how could you have a phone without a passcode? That's if you're that free
I
and
honestly,
open.
If you want, if
you can just swipe on mine and you'll unlock everything.
You're saying
Good to
that
know.
now, but
I'm changing that right now.
I'll get 2 seconds. Little side story. So my phone, up until recently, had no passcode, and also has access to all of my business stuff from YouTube to Twitch to Twitter.
That's what I'm saying.
And I dropped
Too
it
much.
down an elevator shaft, and I had to go deactivate everything.
Dang, put a passcode on, you guys. Don't be a
I'm
temp pad
putting it on
user.
right now, y'all.
It's a much longer story, Matt. We don't have
I
time
guess-
for that right now.
We
I
need to
guess
check
it's called a
VPN.
time pad.
What were you
Is it a
doing in an
time pad?
elevator shaft?
Temp pad,
Okay, so
right?
fun
Temp pad, time
fact, if just so you know, when you get on an elevator, you know that gap between the elevator and the wall? That actually
Nope.
is the shaft all the way to the bottom. And if you
Oh, yeah.
drop your phone at this angle, it will fit.
Getting a little
Good to
X-rated
know.
here.
Thanks,
My buddy
thanks
was
for
over-
letting us
I
know.
had my
that.
buddy over, like my buddy came over last weekend. We were, chilling out, and he goes home. He's like, all right, I gotta go. I gotta study for the bar exam. He's like gonna be a lawyer. It's like 1:00 in the morning. I get a call 5 minutes later, and he's like, yo, Tom, I'm stuck on your elevator.
Oh man, that's one of my
For an
biggest fears,
hour?
man.
For an hour and a half, I'm on the second floor, just going like, dude, I'm just gonna like stand around and wait for the guy. It's okay.
Dang.
Yeah,
I just
but
want to know, was there a pregnant woman about to deliver a baby on that elevator as well?
there was not. No.
Oh, I'm
Good
just
point.
saying.
Jeez. All right. So anyway, so we get Mobius gets pruned. Owen Wilson is gone, or so it seems so far. Renslayer then finds out B-15 has been compromised, so that's kind of setting up a little something as well. They take Loki and Sylvie to see the Timekeepers. So this is again, I was waiting for the episode to end, and as it kept going, I was like, are we going to see the Timekeepers? There's more
No.
left.
It's funny. I thought it was going to end when they walked in there.
Me too, man.
I did.
Now, in the elevator, speaking of elevators, so Sylvie asks Renslayer if she remembers her as a kid and what her Nexus event was. Renslayer kind of smirks and says she doesn't remember, like she knows and doesn't want to tell her, or really does she not remember? Like to me, it was Tuesday, M. Bison from Street Fighter kind of thing. I don't know, but
I think that was a
Yes,
stab at
she-
her. I honestly
she
think that was a
knows.
stab at her. Yeah, I think that,
Yeah,
like,
she
if
knows.
I were to go
I'm a
to one
Benny.
of you guys and be like, I don't remember who the hell you are. How
Yeah,
how would that
that's
make you
messed up.
feel? I think that's the point of that,
Benny, if I see you
It
at
was all right.
Comic-Con, don't hit me with that. Don't hit me with the who?
She was like, new phone, who this?
That's why she smirks, right?
Mint
Yeah.
Gem? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know who you are,
Jim,
man.
Jim, man, what? So we see the Timekeepers. I was wrong. We see the Timekeepers. I thought they were never going to be real. So I was kind of right in that sense because we see these big lizard deities. They look like the comic book versions. They
But do we?
So we'll get to that. I was wrong, but I wasn't all the way wrong. We see them. And all they basically say is like, what do you have to say for yourself? Like, dude, I didn't do anything. Like, what are you talking about? But anyway, B-15 comes in, frees Sylvie, and a big fight ensues. Sylvie fights Renslayer. That was a dope one-on-one. Loki fighting the Minutemen. Sylvie, they take down their adversaries, and Sylvie throws the blade at the middle Timekeeper, the main Timekeeper, cuts his head clean off. And right away, you see something is not right. It kind of looks like machinery where his head used to be. His head falls down. The other two Timekeepers are laughing eerily, and they shut down like Chuck E. Cheese robots or
Why
whatever.
do they laugh, by the way? Like, why do they laugh? Isn't
So
that weird?
let me give you my theory on that. Whoever is in charge of this whole TVA, put these puppets in their place, is watching, and he laughs. He
It
thinks
was
it's
Wizard of
funny.
Oz. It was Wizard of
It
Oz.
is the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
So
Also,
Do you think
can
there's
I just
somebody back there
comment?
with a microphone, right?
Whoever did the reverb voices for the Timekeepers, what were
No.
they thinking? I had to subtitle that
No
whole
idea.
I couldn't
section.
hear the
couldn't
guy on the
understand
right.
Any of it.
Yeah, I
It was
couldn't catch
easier
what
to
he was-
understand Bane from Dark Knight than it was to
I was just
understand
gonna say that.
It's easier to
What do you
understand
mean
the
you can
adults.
understand the Timekeepers?
I can understand the adults in Peanuts and Charlie Brown better than.
So they pick up the head. They see it's a robot. They see it's a mindless android. Loki says it never stops, and then they're asking each other who created the TVA. So what do you guys think about that? So obviously we have no clue at this point. Who the hell created the TVA? Who is in charge of the timekeepers, or is it Miss Minutes? Remember the weird thing about her not being her kind of being alive and kind of being a thing? And then what about the robot connection where they're checking to see if you're a robot when you come into the TVA? Yep. Meanwhile, it's ran by robots.
Okay.
What do they say?
I said this to you on Twitter, Jim. I have a new crazy theory. Okay,
here we go.
I know only half of you saw the trailer because apparently you guys didn't watch the trailer.
I don't watch the trailer,
but I think that President Loki scene is him behind the curtain.
I like that,
where he's literally like, "What did you expect?" Someone told me, "Oh, it's probably on
that's
the other
reveal."
Universe. I think that's going to be the reveal. If that President Loki scene does not show up in 5 as like, if we don't time jump because of the post-credit scene, 6 months, and this is what has happened. If it doesn't open like that, my expectation is President Loki is the one behind the whole thing.
That makes sense,
What
though.
if
I did
Loki
see that.
never makes it into the show. We've seen stuff like that too.
I think you got to see.
No,
it.
I think
it would be easy, wouldn't it? It'd be pretty convenient to have that be the way to wrap all this up. Don't have to introduce another actor like they did with Venom, like they did in Captain America Winter Soldier.
They're not gonna. It's not gonna be. But Tom, to your point, this is what I was saying about Mephisto during our WandaVision discussions. We're not going to get a brand new person that they're really in charge the whole time. It's going to be a Scooby-Doo. It's going to be the guy that was there since episode 1, which was Loki. I totally buy that.
It's Minutes. That's what we're in the today.
President Loki will remove the Scooby-Doo mask, and it'll be the what's a fish guy.
Well, I don't know who the what's a fish guy is.
I think the
very first
ultimate
episode,
villain,
the random guy.
The dude behind the desk.
Yeah.
I think the ultimate villain is Loki because it's like we're 4 episodes in. There's only 2 left.
I mean, it's in the name.
They've introduced
the show.
The villain is Loki in some form or fashion. Is it President Loki? If it really is, and they put that in the fucking trailer, like I would be way disappointed in this show, right?
I don't know if I'd be disappointed though.
I would be disappointed. We didn't know. We didn't know the whole time. How could you be disappointed by that?
I still think it's a Loki though, and I still think it's Old Man Loki. Last week I said Richard E. Grant's going to be in the show. He's going to play an Old Man Loki, and that actually happened. But I don't think that it's him necessarily. But it's a Loki. I don't know.
Here's the question. It was Agatha all along, so what if it was Loki all along?
No, I think it.
What if they do the song again? What if they do the song? It was Loki.
If they do the Loki all along song, I'll be like, this is the best MCU show yet.
Yeah. See?
You don't think that that's just too like? I mean, now they're just recycling what they did.
But it's the MCU. That's all they've done.
Yeah.
Like it's basically recycling.
They better raise the bar.
They did that for like 8 years before changing the movie formula, and it's not that much different right now.
Right.
What if it's President Loki, but there's still someone in charge, like an Immortus, giving Loki all the power?
They're not going to do that.
I personally don't see them this late in any of the shows introducing any obscure characters. No Immortuses, no living tribunals. I don't even see Kang being a possibility at this point.
I don't think so.
Other than maybe an Easter egg mention, like he's on a notepad or Renslayer reports to him afterwards, like we did with the end of Carter, where she went and reported.
Or he's in Alberta, Canada.
He's hanging out Wolverine.
Clearly, he's hanging out with James Howlett.
He's sharpening the knife.
Wolverine in Loki.
All right, so now that Loki and Sylvie are holding this head, Loki realizes, oh, it's just me and her. Time to profess my love. He's gonna come clean. He's gonna tell her. He goes to kiss her, and then his heart starts glowing. Loki pruned from the back by Renslayer. I almost lost my mind. I was like, no. Part of me was thinking, okay, so you don't really, right away I'm thinking you don't really die when you get pruned. But I was like, I guess, you know what I was really thinking is, okay, Mobius really ain't dead then, because there's no way they kill Loki. We know we get more Loki. So right away I'm thinking, okay, cool, Mobius ain't dead.
I also had a brief moment where I thought Loki was going to show the power of love. I'm not even a joke. When he first started glowing, I was like, is he going to go like, oh, I have new powers?
And then Care Bear and
was the song going to start playing too?
Yeah, Huey Lewis shows up and starts jamming out, man.
Yeah.
He knows,
he's not the fucking Grinch. Okay?
We should make
my heart grew
we should
3 sizes too big.
That's what
Logan just
doing,
I mean, he is green, but I mean,
for $5. This ties into the recent Heroes Reborn. President Coulson with his Pandemonium cube with Mephisto also. How come I said I wanted Mike's Better Ray built? Yeah, you scared him off with that one, brother.
Scared him.
And then Tom Keogh back with 5. Real quick, who's behind the TVA? Maybe they traveled to the future and found Loki is their demise every time, and now he's after every Loki variant. Interesting.
I think that's what it is.
Theory. What were you gonna say? Something, Gary?
What if Renslayer is the main antagonist?
No.
I mean, she's the highest in charge that we know of.
She's filled with too much doubt right now, though. Like,
She
you
looks
can't
like-
see that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
she looks like
let's
she
talk
wanted
about
to
that. So now, basically, once he gets pruned by Renslayer, Sylvie gets the upper hand, and then when she basically has the upper hand on Renslayer, Renslayer's like, just kill me. So yeah, she's not really the one in charge. She's already like, I've been doing this too long. It's too much. I'm ready to go. But Sylvie says, no, you're gonna tell me everything. And then Benny thought the episode was over and he was about to punch a hole through the TV.
I wasn't mad. I wasn't like oh my god, but I definitely was like, that's it. And then, but here's what irritated me about that post-credit scene. I left it running for like 4 or 5 minutes while me, my wife, and my buddy talked about the episode. Like we were discussing points. I let it run like maybe the post-credit scene will arrive again. My problem is the credits on Disney Plus are like 10 minutes long.
So long.
And it
See-
might be this episode. It might be next episode. Is it the last 2? Is it the last 3? Is it the halfway marker? There's no indicator when this happens.
I know that. I know it's.
disappointed.
There's
I
info
would be
in the credit
disappointed
scene.
if President Loki is the villain, because we
Oh,
already
100.
seen him.
President
can't-
Loki may
no.
not be the villain, but Loki is the villain.
Yeah.
Loki is the villain. Like 100%, I think. It's so obvious.
It's
to me, I
a
think.
Loki. Let's specify
Loki.
here. We
A
already
Loki.
have like 3 in existence. What
Yeah,
if?
there's
What
gonna
if
be
when
more.
Thanos killed the original didn't die? He got pruned and went back, and he's been trying to correct the sacred timeline this whole time.
Well,
Well,
that Loki's dead.
We get the whole idea.
Thanks,
One of the
Gary.
That Loki's dead.
One of the whole impressions that they keep pushing in this is that Loki always loses. Loki always just is a
But he
cause.
survives.
He's a cause for other people's greatness, right? Like he
Right.
forms the Avengers. He's like Loki's. Like they keep beating us over the head with this. So this is it's like there's somebody pruning the timeline so that one specific timeline, one specific outcome. This outcome is King Loki,
Right.
right?
Right.
So
R-
that-
Thank
yeah.
you.
Ryan
I like
Red for
President
$5 was annoyed that why are you turning your back on people who you're not sure they're dead, they're not tied up, they're not secure. That's like a movie trope. That's gonna go back to the dark ages
Hold
on
on.
that.
All
But
right, I got to straighten this whole thing out then. The theory here now, before we go into episode 5 and 6, is that there's a Loki running the show trying to eliminate the other Loki variants because they want to take his spot.
Man, that sounds like somebody else, doesn't it? Like we're like describing Kang, are we not?
But they haven't even mentioned Kang. I would give this to you, Tom, if they
Yes.
if within the first 2 episodes Kang got a mention or there was
Yeah.
something like there's a god who controls
Like,
time or
Kang
anything.
over-
Same
okay,
thing
well,
with
wait a minute.
Mephisto.
What about the other not Mobius? What do they call it? The other agent that sits at Renslayer's desk and makes the
Right.
circle.
Yeah.
What about the pen? And we also, I don't know if we're talking about the next week's or not, but we're seeing a Sphinx,
Yeah.
That's like
Yeah,
got
that's a
Kang.
mislead, yo. Like,
I-
I'm thinking, well,
I-
remember
I-
when
Ramatut? Is
WandaVision?
that what we're going at here?
Well, in WandaVision, they kept saying like the devil's in the details.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a mislead for us, right? Like
Yeah, what was
it's
that all about?
it's a mislead
is he-
for people that read the
Well,
comics.
I think Scarlet Witch was the
Maybe,
devil in that,
maybe.
one because she
I
was
think
the
it
bad
has
guy.
something to do with like Mephisto or something. Like,
No, that
I
was
just
old, though. They didn't know Mephisto was going to be a funny thing in the community back when they made that.
Right, exactly. That's true. They're
I
probably
just-
watching it weekly, like they think it's Mephisto.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't believe that. I believe
Me
they
either.
knew what they were doing the whole time.
They knew what
I
they
think
did.
one of
Too
us
many
works for
times.
them. One of us
Yeah.
works for them. They're like
We're the
tease.
team.
It's
Kang, and
Michael
they'll get
because
on
Yeah.
he's not here.
Well,
It's
he had to go
Michael
with it.
because he's not
yeah,
here.
see?
You know
And,
what Michael does? He comes here, gets everyone's theories, and then goes back and like feed into this, feed into that. One.
He's recording it right now. His next video.
He's
So
like,
real
we'll
quick-
get him. Don't worry.
Yeah,
We'll get
the-
him. And their
I-
little and their little dog too.
I feel like Kang is gonna get a brief mention or an Easter egg, like straight up thing to lead into Ant-Man. But since he's in Ant-Man and we haven't gotten any direct name drops, references, like I would even give it if like, oh, there's these 3 guys controlling it all, but we deal with variants. Like this one guy who goes by the name the Conqueror who goes through time.
Right.
Like any kind of reference at all that this guy even exists. Even the Renslayer, she never even mentioned like, well, I have a dad who's kind of an evil, warlord. Nothing has been brought up. So if we get to
Right.
episode 6 and they're just like, and it was Kang, the
No, it's not gonna
general
happen.
viewing audience is gonna go, who?
Who the hell is that? Yeah.
if it is Kang, it has to be mentioned next episode. It should have been
Yeah.
mentioned at the end of this episode, and the whole episode 5 would be explaining that. And I don't think that's going to happen. I think
All
that
right.
just the fact that we know Kang is in an Ant-Man film Kang is not going to be a significant villain overall. I
Right.
think.
I agree. I'm totally with you.
Hey guys, we can wrap this whole narrative up without giving us the reveal of Kang, but they could still allude to it and have that be the biggest thing we find out.
They
There
could-
could be a
That's not
Ramatut
big,
or
though.
Mortis. And we got to remember too, Renslayer has other agents, man. It's not just Mobius. So are
They're
we
all
gonna,
Mobiuses though.
we've
I
already
think
referenced.
that Mobius is, I think, maybe gone, and maybe we'll see a different Mobius or something. But I would, as long as Owen Wilson's there, I don't care what Mobius it is. But I just don't think we're getting Kang. I don't
Why
think
the
we're getting
Sphinx
Kang.
though? Why the Sphinx? Why of all the idols we can show on screen?
I,
They show
All right.
I
Machine.
still
Say
think,
this.
I think they're going to allude to him, but we're not going to even get a straight name drop. Because
Maybe
they're
we'll get
setting him
time.
up for Ant-Man. I think he's going to be like, hey, there's somebody controlling the time streams, and you know what? He's using the quantum verse, and then they'll be like, Ant-Man name drop. You know?
Or maybe like if the
that's
TVA
fine.
exists in the quantum reality,
Yes.
like something like that. That would be cool, and it would be cool
just
even
think
if they
that
just saw the name.
Is that where
even
the thing is? Is it? What do y'all think that is at this point? Are we in the quantum verse when we're at the?
Maybe I don't.
Yeah.
I just don't think that they're going to
think
spend
that-
all this money to lead into the next Ant-Man film. Like, that's the
Ant-Man's.
only
I mean,
thing.
how big of a deal is Ant-Man? And Kang's not a big deal because we already know he's coming. It's only a big deal if it's like we never saw it coming, and it's like, oh my god, I can't believe they're having this guy in there or whatever. So yeah, that's why I don't think we're gonna
Yeah,
even
but
get.
what if it is a nod? What if it is a tease? And what if Kang is bigger than Ant-Man? What if he is not?
I
Okay,
mean, I
we know
hope he's
coming
bigger than
Ant-Man, right?
Ant-Man.
But like,
No pun
he
intended.
may not be a one and done villain.
I want a
He's
Ramatut
not.
mention. They get to the Sphinx, they see Ramatut.
Here you
That's
go,
not
your
enough
boy
for me.
Robbie, Emerald Knight's right there with you with Ramatut.
Yeah,
So let's
face.
talk about the post-credit scene, right? So first of all, it's not over until the Winter Soldier, Falcon and Winter Soldier ad pops up. So we get the post-credit scene. Loki immediately wakes up. He asks if he's in hell, and he sits up. We hear a voice in the background. You're not dead, but you will be unless you come with us. And we see he's in like a destroyed New York. And we have 3 new Loki variants, 4 Loki variants. Kid Loki, we have classic Loki, we have what they're calling boastful Loki, which looks like he has a version of Mjolnir, and
Yeah.
we have Florida Loki, or the little alligator Loki. With
Is it
the
a gator
crown.
or a crocodile? I don't know.
One of
for
the
sure,
I don't
but
know.
I
I
like
didn't look at the
gator.
snout that long.
I like
Gator.
Gator
Gator.
Loki. I like Gator Loki.
Gator
Loki's
Loki.
the villain. What if he's responsible for everything? Wouldn't that
You
be
know
Then
what?
great?
I'm canceling my Disney Plus.
Well, somebody was saying that was it the gator talking, because you don't really see
No
who was
way.
talking.
Yeah, we don't know.
Impossible.
Anyway, I loved old man
Are you gonna
Loki.
cancel Disney Plus?
I love
already did.
seeing that cheesy costume. We got it in WandaVision. Now we're getting it here as well, where we see comic book Loki costume. And
That's
where do you
Silver Age Loki right there.
Silver Age.
Hobo Loki.
Kirby
Hobo
Loki.
Loki.
Yeah,
Kirby
Journey into
Loki.
Mystery 85 Loki.
AARP Loki.
So where do you think he is, man? So the big thing, Matt, we were talking about this off camera, and I saw somebody, I think it was Figure Drawn here, talking about limbo. Do you think they're
Yeah.
in limbo, or I mean, where are these? Are they all pruned Lokis? Like, what's the deal?
Well, you saw Avengers
don't know.
Tower, right? This is like a dystopian
Yeah, I saw.
place. So this is Earth, some kind of
I
Earth
feel
position. That's what transported the tower.
Yeah, no, I feel like pruning just goes to the end of one of those apocalypses. Drops everyone
place.
off there, and that's what's happening.
A place where they're going to die. That's why they tell them you will die
Yes.
unless you come with us.
They never, because they've always said prune. They never said we're going to kill you, we're going to disintegrate you. Nothing. It was just we're going to prune you.
Yeah, they put them to one of
Right.
those meaningless universes,
Yeah.
a dystopian, apocalyptic future that doesn't have the ultimate villain's goal in mind. Right?
Thanos won there.
Yeah.
Or
It's
Loki.
only like
Oh,
40
Loki
million
on the
won.
timeline.
Loki
You're
won
out now.
there.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe Loki won. Yeah.
Yeah.
Loki
'Cause
went
or-
to the current
or
timeline.
We're
to
It's
assuming.
fake
Kang's timeline. This will be the Kang reveal. Welcome
Well,
to
I
my
was just about to say.
timeline. I'm looking to get. I will eat a shoe if next episode this is Kang's timeline and Loki breaks him out.
Wow, that's
I
bold
won't eat a
because
shit,
You
but I'll
gotta,
eat a
you
There's
gotta
a
stop
real-
making these promises, bro.
So this is kind of what I was thinking too, but I think I watched a video. I think New Rockstars, and they were kind of pointing out that it's the Avengers Tower post Endgame. It's not the Tony Stark Tower. It's the one that has the
Right.
helipad thing and all that. So I like that theory. I think that that would be cool, but I don't know, man. It might not be based on that version of the tower.
Oh, Kale. What's Kale talking about? Look at that comment.
What's going on with my buddy Kale? considering Battle World to be revealed, negative. Well, not negative zone, but I think Battle World, man, maybe a possibility.
Battle World, really? That's really complex for comic book readers.
Yeah, that's
I don't
a little
know.
too far. So not yet. Not
Could be
yet, right?
Limbo.
To this day, not
and-
every comic book
Limbo.
reader knows what happened in Battle World.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well,
Either of them.
the limbo thing that word might come up, which then, unfortunately, Benny, it leads us back to Immortus, which is a version of Kang. So I could see them saying Immortus, since the big reveal Kang isn't going to be till Ant-Man, but Immortus nobody really cares about. But that kind of ties into the comics a little bit. It gives us a villain. It gives us somebody that controls time, because they got to give us somebody.
Gary,
But
why
if
are you thinking Immortus? Because Immortus is Kang after he meets up with the Timekeepers, which in this
Right.
reality are fake, and then gets like godlike powers, which you know is not going to happen. So why Immortus? I'm just curious.
I think Immortus because it's gonna because we're not going to get Kang.
I mean,
That's
I
why.
think that's a cool
Like a
idea.
Maybe
Kang
a
but
filler.
like, the whole Immortus Kang thing is so freaking
It's out there.
wild and out there. This is
They
they
can
make
write
these
it any way
shows
they
for-
want.
But check
no
this
offense-
out. So
no offense, but they make these shows for muggles, you know?
So
Like,
here's the thing.
I-
They show up in this destroyed New York. They have variant Lokis. We know there's a President Loki. I mean, this has got to be where President Loki is reigning, right? I mean, maybe he's not head of the TVA. Maybe he's
that's
head
where
of the
he's
throne.
reigning. No, they have
Reigning
to pull him
supreme.
out of there, right? Like that, because they said you got to leave with us or you're gonna die. Come with me or you're gonna die.
Again, so you get pruned, but you really just temp-padded to another place.
You
That's
get
kind of
thrown
weird,
thrown to a garbage universe that they're going to come and put a time bomb in or something and blow
right?
up,
Right.
something like that.
So I mean,
Listen, I'm not falling for your theory, because last time you said that we were getting a big enchantment that Loki enchanted the other Loki.
that
So
was
I'm not
Michael Roman's
falling
fault.
for
He
your
had me
theory for
thinking
next
that, man.
episode.
Yeah, and
But
why
I
would-
was-
My entire theory was based on Jem's theory. I just want to put it out there. Jem tweets my brain. He enchanted me
I
to
enchanted-
loudly
Yeah.
promote his theory.
I
My,
was-
my
hold on.
entire theory was
there's a
giving too
huge
much
plot
credit.
hole with them, the TVA sending these individuals to a place that's going to see that they'll see their demise in, when this whole narrative has been about going to dystopian places that are about to get blown up, and then everyone dies, and the whole point of that is to protect the sacred timeline. Why wouldn't they send them to those places? Lamentus, send them all to Lamentus. You'll be
Why
fine.
would they just shoot him in the head?
Because
Like-
now we don't know. Now we don't
Well,
know who's
that's
behind
Disney,
it.
you know?
And like,
Yeah,
and I want to point out that I was right. The timekeepers are not real. I didn't think we were going to see them. We saw the versions that they wanted us to see, but they weren't real. But yeah, it's whoever's in charge. I mean,
Wait,
who knows?
hold on. Let's go to Matt. Way back in the first episode where we all did this, there was a fourth timekeeper. Is it possible
It's
that
gotta
he
be,
took
right?
charge? And now
Well-
there's only one?
Maybe. I mean,
Maybe
it's
they took out
possible,
the
right? I
time.
mean, you
But
can't rule
why
it
the
out.
deception? Why is it one timekeeper has to make 3 fake timekeepers to do the thing that he's trying to do? That
Maybe they
kinda-
took out the timekeepers. Maybe they actually existed at one point. So now, you know what? We're
He has
back
to match all those statues that are there.
convert-
Didn't one of you guys say that this was written by the Rick and Morty guys?
right. Yeah.
Okay, we just had the Rick and Morty episode where he had all the copycat Ricks, and that's
I
a
didn't
normal
see it,
thing.
man.
What
I
is
saw
it?
the first episode.
Yeah.
It's a great one.
Oh,
Great one.
it's a great episode. But either
Yeah.
way, what I'm getting at is, what if you're 100% right, Gary? What if it's just a timekeeper made 3 more timekeepers, and they made the TVA, and that's
Damn it. They killed the
Could be.
decoys.
I actually like Guy's theory, where you already have all these 3 timekeepers everywhere. If they went down to 1 timekeeper, the interior design team would just be busy forever, knocking down 2 statues to leave 1. You know, and it's hard to hold the table up with just 1 timekeeper. At least if
That
you
is
have
true.
3.
You need 3 legs, a tripod.
Yeah.
Right.
There's got to be somebody that's in charge of all of this, because this is a lot of orchestration and propaganda to be beyond.
Right. Someone's behind
It's a
it,
really
yeah.
good question though. Why the deception? Why the deception? Like if they keep
It's
talking about
Loki.
I'm so tired of
See?
Loki. I've been dealing with Loki, this and that. A Loki telling other TVA agents to hunt down other Lokis seems fishy. So
No,
he has to
it
create
doesn't at all.
proofs.
It
The
doesn't
whole
at all.
show is Loki.
Loki's all
every-
about deception.
But that's why they make that's why this evil Loki who is the villain makes this whole deception of the timekeepers.
No,
right?
It's,
Like
it's, it's the plot to like. Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
No, go ahead. Finish. Go.
I was gonna say, because everyone knows what a Loki is. So a Loki can't take control. So you make 3 omnipotent gods that do
Exactly.
everything and hide behind them.
Exactly. That's the point of
Right.
to why you have to have the deception, because it is a Loki.
It's got to be a Loki. It's got to be.
I fell for the
agree.
enchantment theory. I'm not falling for this one, even though it makes
Listen.
more sense than the enchantment one.
I'm gonna wrap
Maybe
this up
that's an
real
enchant. They're enchanted all along, or whatever.
No.
It's gonna
All
all
right,
go
look,
back to that moment.
I
And
agree.
it's all Sylvie.
I 100% agree with you. I'll say 99%. But why Ravonna Renslayer then? If we know how much she's connected to Kang, why
To
use
make
that
us-
character and
to-
make?
to make
I
us
don't
make
know.
videos about it.
Oh, that's
and
a
get that
huge.
hype
That's
going.
a huge middle finger.
I mean,
because why use
they've
this
done
character?
this a ton. They do this all the time. They just throw
Well, they
a
did it in
random
WandaVision.
name. That's what I mean. They didn't want to. They throw random names in there because they want all the comic nerds to be like, oh, they
Right.
know we exist.
True.
Twitch,
It's
Twitch for
what Vinny- Oh, go ahead.
Twitch for $2 saying, what if they are trying to bring the TKs back? I'm lost on what the TKs are.
Timekeepers?
Timekeepers.
Oh yeah. All right, well let's keep.
What if
Let's,
there's already a multiverse?
There should have
well,
been a
clearly
multiverse.
there is. That
There
planet
should-
is
yeah.
clearly not part of the timeline, but just nobody knows it. It's out there.
isn't
So-
it though?
They just keep pruning it.
No.
They
It's
keep,
part.
Yeah, they just keep cutting each variant. Like there should be a multiverse, and somebody, a Loki, is making sure there's one timeline with one ultimate result. The whole point is Loki always loses, so the villain is a Loki trying to manipulate
I like that.
everything so that he
Yeah.
wins.
Plus, it plays into
Damn
the
it,
themes of the
that's good.
show. Loki chasing Loki to discover that there are 4 more Lokis, and there's more
Also,
Lokis in the
Marvel-
trailer that we don't even know about. Like,
Right.
the
I feel-
whole show is
I feel like-
Loki. Look at the logo. It changes into multiple Lokis.
It's in the name.
Yeah.
I feel like you guys are teaming up to force me to believe what you're saying.
I'm trying to get you to drink my Kool-Aid, guy.
Drink
All right,
the
look,
We need
Kool-Aid.
Michael Roman back.
Check this out.
Mike does that enough, man, and then you wore the fucking Kool-Aid shirt too.
Yeah,
We're go-
drink it.
We're gonna go final thoughts, and we're gonna go grades, and we're gonna start with Gary. And if I don't take a bathroom break, I'm gonna pop right now. So just if Gary gets done, Matt, you go, and I'll be right back.
All right.
Go on the line.
I love it.
All right. So here's my final thoughts. I don't know. I just don't know anymore. I've been so wrong from the beginning of this. I got nothing.
You-
I don't know. What's a good
Gary, I
grade?
just want to say I'm
7.5?
only here to mess
from
with
me.
you. I'm literally only on the show to mess with you at this point. Jem was like, "You want to come back?" And I'm like, "I love messing with Gary, so I'm just gonna."
You know what? I'm gonna go a 7.5. I hope they finish really strong. I don't want it to be a Loki because I want to be. I like those oh shit moments, don't you? Like oh
Yeah.
I like that. And it's not. I'm not gonna have that moment now because of you, and it's gonna be a Loki.
Oh.
So that I'm a 7.5. Matt, you're up.
Yeah, I mean, Jem left us in charge. That's probably a calculated mistake, I'm going to say, but I'll try to keep it clean. I'm going to go 8.5 on this one. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more the second time around, to be honest with you. I want to bring it down half a grade because it didn't clean up number 3. Benny, you know, I'm with you there on number 3,
It
but
didn't.
Don't get him
But
I'm
started.
going down in flames.
I thought they had a good answer to 3, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think it still might be, there still might be an explanation out there. And I'm going to go down in flames. I don't care. I'm going down with the ship. There's more. This is the series that we get a reveal. And it may not be a monster one, but it's going to be a new character. And it may be a one and done character. It may be a character we never talk about again. But I'm going down with the ship on this one. I'm going to ride it out. And if I'm wrong, Benny. But I'm going to say that there's more than just a Loki. Maybe it's just my hope that it is, but we'll see what happens.
I do want to say I do believe you more than myself because you guys are much better at finding Easter eggs. You mentioned the Alberta Canada thing, and that I didn't even catch that. I'm just like,
Wolverine's running everything.
It's Wolverine the whole
It is.
goddamn
It's
time.
James Howlett.
you
It's
guys
James
are
Howlett.
much better at figuring this stuff out than me. I'm just saying Loki because it's easy.
Our
But that's what they'll
Benny,
go
our
with.
channel is small. We only have 5,000 subscribers, so it's much easier for us to spend time on it.
We've already gone off the rails, Jim. We're sorry.
No, actually, I still heard everybody in there. Gary gave it 8.5. Matt was trying to get me in
7.5.
trouble.
I was
taking a
about to
whiz.
go into my
You're taking a
political
whiz listening.
discussions. Damn it, Jem.
God damn it. All right, Guy.
All right, now I'm good for another hour. What do you got? So who we on? We on Guy now?
Guy.
All right, what do you got, Guy?
I'm just fucking confused, man.
Guy, I love you, man. I love you, Guy. By the way, I
Man,
got some
I
great
mean-
Kool-Aid for you. Are you thinking Loki or
I
are you
felt like I
thinking
had a
Kang?
I felt like
guys-
I had a grasp on WandaVision better than
No.
this show.
Yeah, I agree with you, Gary. And I was coming into this going, you know what? Oh, this clears things up. And you guys just went and freaking bashed me in the head. Like I don't know what the hell's going on anymore.
That's why we do this.
Between PC over there and Benny, I'm going, I don't know anymore. I don't know. I don't know if I want to know. I think I'm just gonna sit here and go, I'm gonna give it an 8 because that's what I've given every episode so far, I think. I don't
You can't tell
think
me.
it-
Hold on. Wait a minute. So this episode was as good as episode 3.
Do you have our scores?
Come on,
written down?
guy. Come on,
I
guy.
don't even know what I gave episode 3.
He's saying that
I-
overall
in that.
he thinks Loki's an 8. Just
Oh.
the whole,
I think
he's going to give it.
I
every-
think oh,
every
yes.
episode.
Okay, good. Yeah, thank you for
There's
saving me on
8
that.
Lokis.
There's 8 Lokis.
And Guy's
no,
favorite
I just-
number is 8, by the way, just so
Yeah,
you guys
so-
know.
That's a good
So
number.
here's a question, Benny. What size shoe do you wear?
11.
Okay,
I was
you're
hoping
gonna have.
it was
I
8.
wanna, no, I just want to know how long. If he wears an 8, that's funny. But like, if, I want to know how long.
I
How
w-
long it's gonna take you to fucking eat that thing? Because I can't wait to see that. Okay,
Yes, Guy.
I cannot wait.
I'm
for
just
it.
gonna get a
I
shoe
want-
made
I
out
want
of
you
one
to
of those
sit there with a
TikTok
fork and a
cakes.
knife, like soak that thing, get some hot sauce. I don't know, but it's gonna be funny.
I don't know how long
Um,
this will take. I mean,
Yeah, I mean it's fine. It's fine.
Start
Listen,
when we
God.
start the episode.
is the show doing wonders? No, I don't think so. I think we were obviously expecting a lot more. Is it coming? I don't know. I think that's the sad part. We don't know what the hell
Nobody
is going
knows.
on. Okay, but that's the point of Loki, isn't it?
Right, misdirection.
Maybe.
He's got a mischief. It's in the
it's
name.
gonna be
So-
I'm with
Thor
you.
in the end.
keep-
It's gonna be Thor's gonna show
keep-
up.
Keep me in that tornado. Keep it going. Obviously, it's fun. We're talking about it, so it means something. So yeah, 8. Let's move on. Tom.
Giving it a 9. I want to know in the chat too what everyone thinks as well. I'm seeing some numbers in here, but not nearly enough. I want to know if I'm wrong here, but I think this is probably the best episode so far, in my opinion. And I've been giving my numbers based off of the series in general. But just because I give it a 9 doesn't mean that it's like compared to others that I would put
Okay.
it up to that caliber. But I still think we're getting Kang, and maybe that's just wishful thinking. But
Thank you.
too much little things. Kang is coming. He was the first villain that we really knew was coming into the MCU since
Oh, it's been a while now, right?
it's been a while, right? So I think there's a good chance, but you know what? I'll give it a 9.
Can I make one more point before not to go back?
No,
Sorry,
not
but
at all.
shit. I really think it was the Gator who was talking. By the way.
I
I
hope
like
so.
that idea, so I'll go with you on that one, guy.
Yeah.
I'm giving it to Gator.
All right,
yeah.
good. Thank
We
you.
don't know
Thank
that
you.
it wasn't, basically.
It was the fucking Gator. All right, he was talking. He's like, "Come with me. I'm the Gator."
Come with me if you want to live. I'm from Florida. Robbie, what do you
Yeah.
got?
I'm going to give it the same one I gave the last episode. I thought the last episode was okay. Technically, it's directed well for the most part. It looks pretty. The music is fantastic. The acting is great. I really want to highlight once again Owen Wilson, whoever the lady is that plays B-15, and Tom Hiddleston and whoever plays Sylvia. They're really good at delivering with what they've got. I just feel like this show has started with a bang. It was the best first episode we've had of an MCU show yet. And I think each episode's gotten progressively worse, but I still think they're good. And we're talking about them. And I like that we're sharing our theories. Is it Kang? Is it a Loki? I mean, it's totally a Loki. But I think that aside from that, we can have our theories, we can be wrong, but it's just so much fun talking about this, and which makes it to me better than other series. So 7 to me, which I think is a slight on the series because it keeps digressing, but I kind of put it on the same level as last because there's some character work and whatnot, but it could reach higher and further, but at least it's more exciting than, to me, 90% of what's on television and streaming services right now. So I'll still give it a 7.
You're giving it. You said it's worse than before, and you just saw classic Kirby on screen.
That's
What
why it's not a
Kirby
6. That's why it's a 7. Otherwise, it would have
Silver
kept
Age
going
Loki, bro.
down.
Silver Age Loki.
Hobo Loki.
I know
Hobo
Richard E.
Loki.
Grant. If you would have given me the whole show of Richard E. Grant as Kirby Loki, 10s across the board.
So
I don't
Fallen-
care what they do.
Fallen Hero for $10 says 7.5. I don't see any reveals. It's going to be another Agatha situation all over again. These shows aren't for comic fans. It's Disney after all. Disney caters to the masses, as they should. I mean, they don't want the hundreds of thousands of comic fans. They want the millions of casual fans, right? Or
They also
Disney
have to
Plus
live-
subscribers.
It was
Let's not forget
Loki all
Quicksilver.
along.
Hey, I'm just saying, still, as fun as this has been, I still enjoyed WandaVision more. And I
Me
may
too.
be crazy. We still have 2 episodes left, so
I'm
I
with
could
you,
be wrong.
Gary. I think they did something different with WandaVision, and they actually really did some good character development there.
Yeah, I
But
like
Loki
WandaVision
is.
a lot.
Quicksilver stuff, Gary. Is that what you're saying? You really enjoyed all the twists and turns there?
I love the twists and turns, man.
I will
Ralph
say
Boner,
that
man.
He Kang.
See,
Hogwash.
the thing with WandaVision is we didn't really know much about Scarlet Witch and Vision, and we got a lot of development with them. But Loki we already know all of this stuff about him, really. Now,
Yeah.
Sylvie, we didn't get anything from her in episode 3. Now we kind of got her humility. Is that what I'm trying to say? But not really that much. So yeah, you're right. WandaVision, the character development was insane, man.
We fell in love with Scarlet Witch and Vision, 2 whatever characters.
Yeah,
I mean,
C-listers.
you could make the argument that
they
we've
were
already known
backstage
Loki.
characters. Yeah, so
We've known Loki for a long time, so what could they possibly do? And we all love Mobius, right? Owen Wilson. But I like the mystery behind WandaVision more than Loki so far. But there's 2 episodes left, and I could totally eat my words. I won't eat my shoe, but I will eat my words if I have to. So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Benny.
Wayne Watts for
Someone
$5
Okay.
says best episode yet, but it's starting to make Falcon and Winter Soldier look better and better. 8, but old PGX, so you don't know the real grade until it's cracked. Okay, Wayne.
Okay. New theory, new insane
Oh.
theory. I got this. I got
we
this.
go.
I got this. It's going to be a callback to when Sylvie said, "Don't call me Loki." It is going to be a Loki, but he's going to end it by going, "Don't call me Loki. I go by Kang now."
You had me until Kang, because she could say, I go by
That's not bad.
Enchantress.
And she actually,
Ooh.
anything,
Bad.
anything.
Yeah.
But I
That's not
actually,
bad though.
huh?
Yeah.
That's not bad. I gotta be honest.
It'd work.
It does work.
They're not going
no.
to make Kang a Loki.
Nah,
No way.
they're not going to do that.
Todd, that was the
Jonathan
saddest thing
Majors
ever.
would've passed
That was
it.
the saddest thing ever. Like, they better not. They better not do it.
they
You're
wouldn't.
goes
going to
up
be eating
and
my
says-
shoe too, if that's the case.
He
Yeah.
shows up. He's like, "Call me Victor Von Doom." I'm like, "I'm done. I'm done with all of it. I'm done with all of it."
Just flip everything. Fuck it.
All right, Benny, what you got? Final thoughts? Great.
I'm giving this one 9 out of 10. I do think this is. I think the series when 1 was
Wow.
awesome, 2 was pretty good, 3 was terrible, but 4
Would you give
redeemed
3
it.
again?
3, I gave it a 3. The
Yeah,
problem
or
I have
2 or
the,
something.
the problem I
right?
have with
Those
3
2,
still
yeah.
holds though. All of this character development we got in 4, which is what I wanted. I wanted the character development. I didn't want the fights and stuff. I'm not watching Loki to watch him be the master of knives and pull out 2 blades.
Right.
I'm watching him to be tricky and and have it character driven. That's what I want. All the fighting and stuff, that's Falcon and Winter Soldier. I want to see them do the guns, the fighting and stuff. Loki, I want to see it like WandaVision. I want to see it like I want to see a character driven plot. I want to see this kind of stuff. In 3 just did nothing. And all of it was in 4. It just needed to be paced better. 4
I
was
thought 3
incredible.
was pretty.
It
I
was
thought
pretty,
3
yeah.
looked great.
It did look good, and maybe they were just showing off the graphics before they go to the circle room. I don't know.
I just want to know who's shitting your Cheerios, Benny.
I gave it a 9,
I
guy.
I love
I
the- I
gave
love
it a
the
9.
The Benny Guy feud, man, is amazing.
I gave it a 9, guy. Fine, I
No,
give
that
it a
was-
Loki out of 10. Is that better,
A
guy?
9. I'm with you. I definitely I enjoyed this episode. So many reveals. That's why I like the payoff. So this was a big payoff episode. There were some things I didn't really like about it. I didn't like them pruning Mobius. I didn't like them pruning Loki just to show that he's not really dead. That was kind of cheap. Like, why even do it? Just for that 30-second or however
It
long till the
reminded me
credits.
of Peter Parker's death when they immediately said, "Nope, he's still alive in the brain."
Yeah, exactly. Right during the slot run. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like I didn't like those things, but I really loved the episode. I'm torn between like an 8 and a 9. I think I'm feeling more of an 8 overall on this episode. I really did like it a lot. I loved seeing Owen Wilson back and him sticking it to the man, going against the TVA. He wants that damn jet ski, and I don't know. I just feel like it was a fun, revealing episode. I watched it again this morning to take down my notes. I cannot wait for episode 5. I want to see what happens with these variant Lokis.
Yeah.
Where the hell even are they? What happens when you get pruned and all these things? So it's got me amped up to see what happens next. So I think that's a good
And what
tell.
are you gonna say? And what possibly is Benny gonna eat if nothing happens in the next episode too?
There's no way nothing happens. I think he can make a bet on he'll cancel his Disney Plus subscription if nothing happens.
No, I like
definitely
Disney Plus, man. I still gotta watch Raja.
You gotta watch
the
the
last
X-Men
Dragon
animated series.
I gotta watch the X-Men
I
animated
have to
series.
watch that too.
Yeah,
But I definitely
I don't have that
think
many emails, man.
I definitely think Loki is the big bad. I think it's Loki all along. It has to be. I don't think we get any Kang or Immortus stuff. You guys can mark the timestamp on this thing. I definitely am on board with the Loki theory. So just
King
my 2
Loki?
cents on that.
Can I present a theory that was in my chat? They did a
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
chat for it.
Please do.
Temple of Gods in my chat asked, I think Renslayer killed, pruned the Timekeepers, and took over with fake ones, and that the big bad is actually Mobius or a previous one that found out the truth and got pissed.
I like that.
Ooh,
It's
that's a
just
good-
crazy enough
yeah.
to work.
It's another Owen Wilson. Yeah, that's really.
And then
good
Owen
too.
Wilson
do
goes,
think-
I'm not Mobius, I'm Kang.
Wow.
Kang's
But he
the new
spells it with a
Mephisto.
C.
That's-
He spells it with a C.
I
What
definitely,
if it,
Yeah.
what if
hold on,
it's him
real
from
quick, Robbie.
Zoolander?
I definitely think that multiple Mobius is something that I thought ever since he was having that first meeting with her with the coaster thing. So I'm totally with that. I'm sorry, Robbie. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say I think we're still gonna get multiple Mobiuses, but I hope if he is the villain, it's him particularly from Zoolander. Like, that'd be
Hansel?
great.
Wow.
He's so
Oh
hot
my
right
god,
now.
that would be
True.
great.
I, look, I will say
I
this:
think-
as hopeful I am for Kang, we didn't get Mephisto in WandaVision. We didn't get Omega Red in Falcon Winter Soldier, and we may not get Kang. But at least we know Kang is coming, so it makes more sense than the other two. That's it.
I agree
That's
with
true.
Matt. I agree with Matt, and maybe we're gonna get like a My Cousin Vinny moment, Matt, and he's gonna say, Kang's dead. I'm Kang with a C. C-A-N-G.
I'm going to disagree with Guy just because.
Because he's Benny, and at this point they have to disagree. So
The only part there, Gary, you're missing is that we see the Sphinx. I'm gonna still wait for that
Ramatut.
Sphinx, man. Ramatut. It's his time
Sphinx.
machine, traveling from centuries in the future.
Yeah,
I think me, Tom, and Matt are on the same page with the Kang Ramatut, and I'm saying Immortus just to throw him in. But there's
It's the
multiple. Right? How
closest
many Kangs do we
gotten,
have?
man.
what if it's
That's the
Iron
way-
Lad?
Yeah.
could be.
Dude,
We're
if
That
you're
counts.
doing that,
That
it-
counts.
man.
it is more likely to be Iron Lad than any of these other random ones that we've come
They're
up with.
building
The
into Young
Sphinx is
Avengers.
there.
We know this. They're doing Young Avengers. We know this. Maybe it's Iron Lad the whole time.
That would be insane. I'll eat my other shoe.
I'm sending Benny new shoes just so he
Yeah,
can.
you're eating one shoe, by the way, at least
So-
one.
That sounds like a good place to stop for now.
Yeah.
Definitely, I want to thank everyone for coming through, everyone on the panel, everybody watching live on both channels, on this channel, on Comicstorian. And I want to give a quick shout out to everyone who came through. And first of all, Fee wants to say hello.
Oh,
It's
Gary.
Gary, you want to let them know who you are, where they can find you, what do you got going on?
Yeah. Oh, you could head over to Very Gary Comics if you want. It's okay if you
Hey,
don't.
Gary, Gary.
I drop videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Today's video, I picked up I buy comic book collections and we go through them, and then we send some stuff to CGC. We unbox them. It's a whole bunch of nonsense. So come on over. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, we do live auctions once a month over on Gary's channel. The biggest comic book live auction on YouTube. We just did one. It was amazing. And I just met up with somebody in person who bought a slab that lives in my city. So that was kind of cool.
So none for
Shout out
July
to
though, because
Manny.
we do have Terrific Con in July, so we don't have an auction coming this month.
Don't you
Matt
guys
Ford's
all
guy
live
for-
in New York? You guys all
No,
live there,
no.
right?
They live in the Northeast. I'm in Texas.
Oh, that
New
makes
York.
sense.
Matt and Guy, since you guys are part of the same channel, why don't you guys give your shout outs and where they can find you?
Yeah, Pressable Defects on YouTube. There's 3 of us. We're missing Jay the Butcher tonight, but you know, we do new comic book review previews. So you get the reviews with Jem, you get the previews with us on Mondays, and then we do some spec videos. We actually just dropped one where we found the first comic book appearance of Rick Mason just in time for Black Widow. So go check it out. And we just hit we're about to hit 5,000 subs, and we got a nice giveaway on the channel, giving away a ton of stuff.
Nice.
So check us out if you want. Search Pressable Defects, you'll find us.
Cool. Guy, you echoing the same sentiments or what?
That about wraps it up.
I
what do you got
disagree
going on?
with that guy.
And I knew
It
you
doesn't
would.
wrap it up. There's more.
What do you got,
Yo,
Tom?
Comic Time 101.
I think Benny's a variant of me.
Oh.
Here we go.
Good day, man.
I'm
Oh,
actually
you
Kang.
And Guys Immortus.
And Iron Lad.
Yo, Comic Talk 101 on YouTube. Chat expensive paper. We got Overstreet Price Guide advisors. We got specialists on the show. We talk about comics every day. Gem Mitts on the show too.
Tom, no matter how many subs are in the chat on these channels, Tom is still the celebrity. Shout out to Comics Tom 101. I do a show over there with him as well. Top 10 hottest back issues of the week. We kill it. Zorro's a master editor, and Shaylin and Slav as well. Robbie, what's up, brother?
Yo, you can find us over at Pop Culture Philosophers. We do the weekly comic book review. I do the top 10 with Jim on his channel, but PCP Movie Night, every Friday night, we do movie reviews. We're about to start at the top of the hour, kicking off Action Fest 2021, because it's the summer's time, right? And it's time for action movies. And we're starting it with the best Sylvester Stallone action film of all time, agreed by at least 20% of the population, Cobra. So
I was
join
going
us
to
at the top of
say,
the hour. Cobra.
Is
Cobra.
that your? I saw your little
His thing was
avatar, and
Cobra,
I'm like,
yeah.
is that
I saw
Cobra?
that
That's
That is
awesome.
Cobra.
Robbie, what's the quote from Cobra about crime is a virus?
Crime is a disease, and I am the cure.
Nice.
This movie is so stupid, and I love it so much, man. So
It's great.
hell yeah.
And Benny, yeah, thanks for coming on. Thanks for streaming on your channel as well. I guess for anybody who doesn't know, if you want to give them where they can find you, what you got going on, type of thing.
I'm normally on the Comicstorian channel. I work on a new channel, Absolutely Marvel in DC, where I basically just do this with my own group of friends. But everyone watching on Comicstorian, they've all got their names in the chat here, so go to them. Don't worry about me. So
Can Guy show up on Absolute Comics with you and your friends?
yeah, why not? You guys can come out anytime. All you gotta do is
All I
reach
got
out.
of that
If
is
you do
we're
reach
not
out,
your friends.
no, Matt, you're welcome, but you can't bring guys.
Thank you. All right, no problem. We're only related. It's not by choice, so I'm good with that.
I have a
so
brother
close.
too, man. I know how it is.
cousin. So I mean, it's
Not even that close. All right, guys. Thanks everybody watching live. Thanks for all the super chats. Thanks for everyone who's watching on Comicstorian and talking Loki episode 4 with us. I, for one, can't wait for episode 5. Same time next week. We'll be here doing a live discussion. Thanks for watching on the replay. Man, you guys stay minty fresh.
And on Comicstorian, I'll be here if they invite me back. I'm trying real hard to get kicked off.
Peace out. I almost hit end, leave studio instead of end stream. You ever do that?
Yeah.
I've done that. Yeah.
I'm gonna go now, guys. I'll see you guys next week.
Peace
All
out,
right,
man.
Benny. Peace out, bro.
Let's go.
All right, we're not done yet, though, chat, at all. Nope. Okay, we're going over to another podcast. I'm going to be talking about a Valiant comic with the guys over I Freakin Love Comics. I just like making new friends lately, guys. Let's jump into this one. Faster than lightning. I don't know the next words for this. Ooh.
Let's we have another guest. We have another person joining us. Let's see who it is. Let's Hey, what's up, Benny?
I am so sorry. I have done that show with those guys for 3 weeks in a row, and they've ended on time every week. So that's why I told you I could jump over no problem. And the first week that I'm like, I got something else to do, they're like, let's go long.
That's our cue. You're going nowhere.
We have
So-
so much to talk about. It's all G.
So let's do like a quick little recap because I want Benny to kind of weigh in on some of these things. We're about to get into issue 4.
Okay.
We've done the first 3 issues. What do you think about Peter Stanchik?
Peter Stanchik at this point, I
At
was
this point, like
I was more annoyed with him at the intro of this whole book. Like, he felt like he was going through pretty much every, like, I want to say like X-Men or like manga hero, but he was just nothing but whining up to this point. And it's like, he's got magical powers, cool. And he's just complaining. Now, I love what they ended up doing with him. I will say that now before everyone's like he hated Harbinger, but
he does
I will say-
okay.
Oh, just like reading this whole time, all I could think of was like, oh, just imagine this character written this way as a woman. That would never happen. You could just a female character could never act like he does.
It was just,
They
it was
have
just,
to-
it
have
was
to be
just
likable.
he complained about
Right.
everything. It was problematic across the board at this point. Like I felt like, and it kind of shows how Valiant did it later on by getting more of a focus on Harada. But it felt like everyone else was supposed to be the star, but they were just trying real hard to write Peter Stanchek again. Like we need him to be that guy.
Right.
This is going to be the clickbait title of this video.
Yeah, ready.
Damn it! I just got out of a Loki thing, and all I ever said was I hated everything because I had an opinion.
Wait, you hate Loki too? Wow.
No,
Wow.
don't keep that going, man.
Do we have enough characters in the title to include Comicstorian hates Loki and Harbinger? Or...
I think so, yeah.
We have to pick one.
Yeah, we'll make that happen.
I'm just gonna start going to channels, making my own clickbait. That's great.
Cool. So we're about to get into issue 4. So Faith Herbert, this is kind of like she was cameoed in the last issue, and this is where we really get to know her, sort of. So here she is with her Mass Effect Geth action figure on her desk, which is a reference I greatly appreciated. She's getting ready to go on what she thinks is a date to meet a boy. She meets him at the mall. There are a bunch of mean bitches there. That's what I wrote. There are a bunch of mean girls there that are like being nasty to her. And then this guy shows up, good looking guy, but now we're at the Harbinger Foundation where Peter's training. So that we kind of jump to Harbinger Foundation. He's haunted by memories of Joe and Chris, which manifests itself in like the form of like actual people walking around talking to him. Toyo is meeting with Peter's instructors. So Hidden Moon wants to kill Peter. He straight up says, like, I think we should just kill him. The psychologist, excuse me, is more sympathetic. So Toyo Harada, this is going back to what Reese said, he lies, and he says that the bleeding monk destined him for greatness. Livewire gets Peter, brings him to Harada. Harada explains his backstory as a Hiroshima survivor and how he started to discover his abilities. He shows Peter the Harbinger version of Cerebro. Rachel's there, and she explains what activation is. It's a dangerous process, and a quarter of the time, the potential Psiots, they die. Toyo explains that there might be a safer way. Peter could be able to activate Psiots himself. Toyo wants Peter to test it on Faith, and he does. He tries to activate her. She seems to react badly, to say the least, and you can see the panel. There's like blood coming out of her nose. It's unclear if it worked or not. But anyway, Peter's back in his room. He's hallucinating about Joe. He becomes suspicious that Joe's being hidden from him, so he decides to escape. Livewire surprisingly agrees to use her Psiot machine control powers to help him. And she kind of says that she just wants him gone. Harada notices that he's gone. Peter searches this like squat drug den type house for Joe with his imaginary Joe, which is weird. He's looking for Joe with imaginary Joe.
Yeah.
And then he finds Joe OD'd on drugs, dead. So Ingrid, the psychologist, finds Peter there with Joe's body, and he figures that I wrote that he figures out that Ingrid and the Harbingers killed Joe, but really he tortures her until she tells him, and that's the end of issue number 4.
I think it's a bit of both, right? Because like he's like, hey, everyone's been wiped in this building, and that's how he sort of figures it out. But then he starts interrogating her from that. So it's a little bit of both.
It's a little bit of both. That's right, and yeah, he kind of deduces it. My favorite part of this is just Faith existing, I guess. She's such a likable character.
She's super cute. She's super fucking cute. I love it.
I had a small problem with Faith, and not the character of Faith in this one, but just what they did with her. Because, like, I think it's a lazy trope to have the fat girl feel good about herself because a straight-sized man or woman is interested.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But I get that this was probably not written by someone who's fat. They wouldn't think about that. So they'd just be excited for a date. So it's like, it's a little tiny complaint, but it's like, it's a lazy trope that pops up pretty often.
100%.
For me, with Faith in this situation, I kind of just didn't find her interesting at all at this point. I didn't find Faith too interesting until she got her solo series, because I just felt like she was just kind of attached to the crew at this point. Like
knowing she has a solo series, same with Livewire, does help my interest.
It does. But like at this point, everyone outside of Peter didn't feel that important. Like they were there, but they were there to propel the plot. And Peter was what we were trying to follow, Peter and Joe. And at this point, I was just kind of like, okay, Peter's kind of annoying. I really like Joe. I hope he comes back.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, I hope they find him and he's
be
alive.
careful what you wish for.
But like Faith and stuff, I didn't find them too interesting until they got their own solo writers, kind of taking them beyond just being support.
So really, the reason I liked her is because she's the only happy thing happening.
She's
the
also
only
the
good
embodiment.
person.
Yeah.
yeah.
She's all of us, you know. She's like,
She's
oh,
the
I
blue
was just
sky on a cloudy day.
Yeah. But she's also like, make me a superhero, please, please, please. Like, I don't want to be lame and normal.
Like
I wanna
once
be...
again, I'm sitting here like, I hope she sees this. Like Faith isn't real.
Yeah.
I'm Faith. Faith's me.
Faith
In this
I
is
knew
story.
I liked you for a reason.
Faith lives here.
I'll say Comicstorian, I'll go on the knife for you. I hate Harbinger at this point, and I am so glad that Chris is haunting him, because Chris needs to haunt him for the rest of his existence. That was an amazing moment. And also, like, it really, I almost didn't finish this issue because I've personally been through multiple people I know overdosing from heroin. And so watching that sequence, I was just like, oh, this is just bringing back memories that I don't want to go back to.
It just fell into a lot of expectations. Like you were like, oh, they're not going to go in this direction, but it just felt like we hit what we would expect from everything. You know, these are the support characters that help you out. Oh, maybe we're going to save Joe. No, we're not going to save Joe. You know, like
which is like the inverse of reading Exo Manowar, which I felt like every time
Which
it was
surprised you every time. Yeah.
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 That's an interesting point about the overdose. Is like that's the first clue that he has, right? Is like this dude doesn't inject and he's here with a needle in his arm. Like that is really out of character for him. That's the first trigger he has to be like, oh, this situation isn't right. And I thought that was interesting and important because not every junkie's the same. Not every drug addict's the same. Not everyone with the same mental illness or disorder is the same. And so like having that differentiation between the two is really nice. DC Stranded wants to know, how do you all feel about the level of edge in this first story?
we got pretty deep into that. But it's definitely very edgy.
I'll admit, because like, when you first hit me up and said Volume 2, I was a little more excited at first because I enjoyed Volume 2 onward. Because the first volume at this point, when I started up Comicstorian, I was more reading this because it was kind of the job as opposed to like, I want to read this. In Volume 2 onward, I got more into it. But Volume 1, I was more doing it for the job at this point, so.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I feel right now.
Judah made me read this.
I'm sorry, I read Volume 2, but
See, DC Stranded, I think like I am attracted to edge, and I think it's like a fault that I have, like to the point where I'm like, I love Ennis, I love like all this bullshit that people are like, that's really stupid. I'm like, yeah, I know, but I don't know. There's something about it that I really enjoy. So that's maybe
it's because it's hard to do well. Like, and Garth Ennis, I know you were going to bring him up, but like I love that you did, because I think he's so good from what I have read, and it's by no means his entire body of work, but like for everything I've read by him, like it does such a good job of like, it shocks me, but I genuinely care about these characters.
He needs an editor.
He did Crossed, right?
Yeah, he did do Crossed.
Yeah, just read Crossed. That is like
so edgy.
Magnum opus.
You will know when to stop reading Cross. It's like, Cross is great. Oh, someone didn't stop him. I will.
You know what's good about Cross, though? It
burned in my
establishes
mind.
like a baseline for edge, right? So like, once you read Cross, it was like, this is a little edgy for me. I'm like, all right, I guess. Everything else is tame after that.
I feel like
what's edgier than the first arc of Crossed? Like nothing though.
I feel like Cross,
you get to the point to me better than this one.
I feel like with Crossed, every arc he was just like, how far could I push the envelope? Why is no one stopping me?
Maybe it was on a dare.
Controlled Ennis is the best Ennis. Like as long as he has a strong editor, you'll get stuff like Punisher Max. But
I feel like that's the same thing with like Stephen King, because like with a great editor, you get like, you know, the Dark Tower series. With a bad editor, you get
Gerald's Game.
That parts
also one of my favorite.
The end of the Dark Tower series.
Yeah, the end of the
I love the end of the Dark Tower series.
Did you get to the point in Cross where Alan Moore starts writing it?
No.
Yeah.
I quit after the first volume. I think Robo did as well.
It's fucking weird. I'm saying this as it gets weird for Crossed.
like weird, worse, like more edge, like I probably don't want to read it.
It's weird, like strange.
It's Alan Moore trying to make sense of Cross.
Yes, that's it.
All
Okay.
all I will admit with Crossed is I've read it far longer than I ever should have. That's it. It was definitely
literally
a point.
a wreck.
There was
Yeah.
definitely a point, and there's a long box in there of Crossed books where I was like, "Why am I still reading this? What is wrong with me?"
Right.
Every issue is I should stop. I should stop. All right, well, when's the next one coming out?
It's just like I'm kind of in the same boat as Ree, where like Edge just fucked up edgy shit just intrigues me for reasons I can't
I've got that
comprehend.
kind of taste. Yeah, yep.
Well, I can say I know personally like kids who got really into like the punk scene that did this shit, that like lived from couch to couch and did, and one of them is dead today because of this reason, and did drugs like this. So I know this character. I've been around this character. So it's a little edgy, but it has some sense of realism behind them as well.
Right on. So
I'm reading some of his stuff, and then we can move on. But reading some of his stuff, I guarantee that's what he was going for.
100%.
What was the one with in California? I forget what it's called right now.
It's Goodbye, Good Night Paradise.
Good Night Paradise.
Goodbye Paradise, yeah.
I'll tell you what.
Outstanding.
Just we brought up the title. Don't read that. Given what you were talking about, your sensitivities.
100%. Yeah.
Like, I appreciated this because none of the mental illness or addiction seemed like it was used for just effect. It seemed like genuine. I don't even want to say flaws, issues. Yeah. It felt like their characters were real.
Yeah.
Definitely. So I want to get into issue 5, but just one quick other question about issue 4. How dumb is Harada Corp? Like they're supposed to be incredibly smart. Toyo Harada is supposed to be like almost a genius, but he knows Peter's a very powerful Psyot, and they mind wipe everyone at this flop house. And then they don't even research how Joe does drugs. Like they knew he was going to know.
I don't think it's stupid. I think it's arrogant.
Arrogant, yeah.
Yes.
That's a better that makes more sense. Yeah.
It's the Bond villain that explains the entire plan before it's actually happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very tropey at this point in the story. Like you're just like, oh, here's the explanation. Oh, here's the angsty guy. Oh, here the friend died. Oh, like
here's the right hand man that's gonna betray the villain for no reason.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
So we're talking to Joshua Dessart in 30 minutes, and I'm really hoping he's not watching because as soon as he jumps on the Zoom, I'm like,
Dude, but like,
yeah, we'll have some apologizing to do.
Here's the thing, like this is all stuff that reminds me of like complaints and criticisms I have about shows I love.
Yeah.
Because like, yeah, there's all these problems, but like despite that, dude, like I was so excited to turn the page every time to see like what's gonna happen next. So like I don't necessarily mind tropes if it's gonna entertain me still.
That's right.
And like this did that.
Yeah, you're right.
So we got Peter interrogating Ingrid, and when I say interrogating, I really mean torturing. This is issue 5, by the way. She reveals
enhanced interrogation.
Enhanced interrogation. That's right. She reveals that killing Joe was Harada's idea. It was meant to confuse Peter and make him more dedicated to the Harbinger Foundation. Hidden Moon arrives after being temporarily overpowered. Peter, and this is verbatim what I wrote, Peter royally fucks Hidden Moon up. Consumed by rage, and this is the panel that Robo was holding up earlier that I love. Consumed by rage, Peter heads to Harada. A fight ensues between Peter and Harada and the Harbinger Psyots. Peter defeats Edward, which is the Psyot who poisoned Joe. Ion injures Peter, and then Harada gives Peter a choice: serve or die. And he's kind of mask off at this point. In a truly epic moment, and man, I love this. In a truly epic moment, Livewire turns on Harada, frees Peter. He falls off this tower, and he's rescued by Faith. So she does do something cool in this trade. Who is now a full-fledged Psyot with powers. So the activation worked, and she's not dead, which is great. Harada is pissed at Livewire, to say the least. And then the last panel is the bleeding monk walking across a bridge in what looks like it's still Pittsburgh.
So that
this stuck the landing so hard.
Yeah, that was the last page of That was the last page of.
You're right.
Episode
issue 4.
Issue 4. That was super dope, and that was. Sometimes I read comics late after they come out. And one of the things that I really hate is that I'm reading them all at once to where I can, because I'm imagining these coming out once a month or bi-monthly or whatever, and then seeing that last splash that I had put up where you find out his friend's dead and he's just like in Super Saiyan mode, and that's it. That's the end of the episode. I'm like, how dope would it have been to be like there? You gotta wait till the next episode, you know?
Right on. Yeah.
Dude, that him just freaking out and like
Going
taking
ham.
down all these people who have been just dicks the entire, like, you've all been dicks, but now at least some of you are like getting your comeuppance.
That's right.
So, G, let me ask you this. You hate Peter at this point. Rightfully so. He committed a horrible crime against Chris, and he's also just generally a piece of shit asshole. But at this point, in this 5th issue, you mentioned it stuck the landing. Does that mean that in this moment you were totally rooting for Peter?
No, I'm rooting for, honestly, I think I have the next one, so I know the cover. If anyone I think can redeem Peter or make him likable, it will be Faith. So like I would love to see them have a moment where she like breaks down like, you're a terrible person and this is why, but I believe in you.
Is there anything that could happen that would make you like Peter again? Like,
yeah,
is there?
I guess, okay, maybe this is a shitty take. I will take shit for it. But like, I don't necessarily think that rape is unforgivable. I think you could go a restorative justice moment. Like, I think that is a redeemable thing. I think you need to address it with Chris. I think if she indeed wants to talk to you about it, I think someone like Faith could maybe make him understand, like, here, this is why you did something that's bad. Because like Reese said, like, this is someone who has not had a normal social upbringing. So like, if people have treated you as an experiment your entire life, I mean, honestly, yeah, I'm surprised he didn't just say like, I want her to want me, not I want her to love me. The fact that he can still consider that love and love for him is possible, I think is like that glimmer of hope.
Of not being a pure psychopath, but just a really shitty.
I think you've taken a kid and you've shit on them their entire life. So like now he's got to climb his way back from that. And if he can, I think he'd be a great character.
That's a really interesting point because I do like you guys would have seen, and this is kind of a tangent, but those videos on YouTube where the rapist and the victim talk to each other about the event and try and like discuss it with each other. I'm like, wow, that's really fucking heavy, but like important. And I hope that more rapists are brave enough to do that and like try and, even though it like fucking sucks and it's not something you should ever do to another human being, like that doesn't mean that you can't try and make
so
your
much
life
of rape
better.
is, I think, seeing the other person, male or female, as an object. So like, yeah, when you can sit down and be like, you're a human person, let's talk about each other. Yeah, like I think that's the biggest step.
With the only caveat that I would say to that is that a lot of people do stuff like that in a performative sort of way to where I try to apologize. I tried to ask him, and it's almost like this feeling of obligation to like, you must now forgive me. I think you're right that is heavy and that is when it happens, but definitely no fucking rapist deserves that or is, you know,
No one's entitled. No one, rapist or otherwise, is entitled to forgiveness.
That's right. Yep.
Benny, did you start to like this trade more around issue 5?
Oh, well, I mean, I like Dragon Ball Z, so the Super Saiyan moment kind of like, oh, yeah! Now we're going to have, like, the big, oh, let's go blow everything up moment. Like, I don't care if I'm not a fan of the character. Show me your powers!
Yes.
When he's blowing up characters you don't like anyway.
Yeah.
I like it when Toyo drops the bullshit and just is Toyo, like just is like I am the fucking Omega. You will follow me or die. There is no choice. Like he's no longer portraying himself as like this reasonable person who just wants to make the world better. Although he does want to make the world better. Like that is a true thing about Toyo. He survived Hiroshima. He does want to make the world better. It's just his way of making the world better is psycho.
Yeah. Not to mention like what does the end world look like? And that we might not agree that, whoa, this is not better. He's like, yeah, it is.
And I love this idea that like you're supposed to be the end, but like maybe if what he is the end of your terrible empire.
Maybe.
It was the end of 4 and issue 5 that convinced me to read volume 2, 3, 4 and onward. Because the first 4 issues I just found tropey. It just, it's just like, it's kind of boring. I'm disliking a lot of the characters. No one seems important. The everything's what I expected it to be. And then we get to 5 and it's just like a bloodbath, basically.
Do you think it's tropey because like maybe the author did not want to spend a lot of time with these characters?
I mean, possibly. Knowing what I do know about how Valiant started up early in the early days, which is where Harbinger Volume 1 started way back in those days. They were just trying to get to the beats as quick as possible. So it might not have been an author decision so much as it was like the higher ups at the time were like, just get to the stuff we can sell. Because I do know when Valiant first started up, the focus was to try and get to the movie as quick as possible. And it wasn't the comic editorial. It was the people who owned the general property. They wanted to get there, DMG. And so knowing that they wanted to get there, they don't want to spend time on the overweight character or the side character or what's the one that will make a marquee? Peter Stanchek. Make him interesting.
So taking that into account, the first issue is a very interesting choice. Because he'll never be a marquee. Like, there will never be a positive portrayal of Peter Stanchik in like a high budget movie with that, unless they retcon it out or they just reboot without that.
What was the date on this though? Because didn't this come out around when
2012?
Yeah, I was gonna say. So think about what was popular back then. It was the edgy guy that no one really wants to get to know, but he's got a soft side on the other side. Like that was the big movie thing at the time. And if you're trying to rush your way to a movie just to get movie rights going at the time, I do know that there was a lot of arguments internally with the comic book guys wanting the comic books to be good, but there being a parent company that's like, but what can I sell to the movie studios? So if you look back in the day, I think it was Sony. Sony was buying the rights to all of these. It wasn't just Bloodshot. And so that was what they wanted it to look like.
Interesting.
Dark superhero universe. That's what we need.
It was popular.
Yeah, it was. It made money. Yeah. My question for the panel, and this is around the themes. Do the ends always justify the means?
No.
Nope.
No. I think some ends justify some. I can't apply a blanket thing to it because you gotta
case thing.
It's a case by case. If the means cause a very little amount of harm and the ends reduce a huge amount of harm, then I would say perhaps. But it really has to be like a pretty stark difference in harm caused. If the means cause more harm than the ends reduce, then of course not. So
I think I'm gonna go Spock with like the greatest good for the greatest number of people.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll go evil
greatest
on
number
this.
of beings. I don't think it needs to be people.
I'll go evil with this one. Just if everyone else dies, then I'm right. Like
who else is there to write the history book?
Exactly.
I think that comes down to like, is there an absolute good or bad? And like, I don't think there is.
So, here's my question then. Like, if we're going Spock with it, if Toyo envisions a future which is pretty much what's happening to us right now as humanity, like we fuck up the Earth and we can no longer live on it, is it better to let us go that way with our own free will, or better to control all of us and make us not destroy the planet?
I think you gotta just let it go.
Yeah.
I mean,
sometimes a species is their own extinction event. That happens.
Yeah.
I mean, back to Dragon Ball Z. I mean, that's exactly what happened.
Everything comes back to Dragon Ball Z.
So, if this was the only, I think for most everyone here that this is the case, but if this is the only TPB of Harbinger that you've read so far, what do you want to see happen going forward?
I want that moment that like Arik had with his friend where he was like, "You're a piece of shit."
Yes. Where he kind of like realized like, oh, there's more to this than just my own personal revenge.
Yep. I want him to become close with Faith. I want Faith to make him realize that like there is goodness and like people might not just, strap you to a table and shock you. Unless you're into that. And then I want him to do something that like hurts her. And I want her to do kind of like, if you watch the new She-Ra, that moment that Scorpio and Catra had of like, you're a bad friend.
That's right.
I didn't watch the new She-Ra, but I do want to check it out.
You absolutely should. It is like the gayest, best thing ever. Although, you know what? There's some discussion to be had there because it maybe lets toxic relationships kind of take a slide.
I see. Cool. Yeah. So that is Club Valiant episode 4, Harbinger Volume 1. Any parting rounds or final thoughts on this volume? I liked it.
Yeah, I liked it. I'd recommend sticking with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I have to say, really.
Right.
Keep
I
going.
just want to know what's coming next.
Well,
So
you will.
it'll be very interesting to see what I think of the next volume because I really, really dislike this volume from
But-
start to finish.
Having someone who went through the entire series already, the entire Harbinger and the reboots and all the different ones. After Volume 1, I stuck with Harbinger all the way up until they pretty much stopped making Harbinger themed books.
Till Imperium.
Basically, yeah. And so I enjoyed Harbinger. 2 kind of fixes a lot of 1. 3, in my opinion, made like, oh, now we're in a good direction. We have a team together and we know what we're doing. And it turns into, my friend put it best because he was hugely a fan of Harbinger from 1 all the way on. It wasn't until Volume 3 that it became X-Men, and that's what he really liked it. So
Okay. Cool.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Question: how do you all feel about the post Dinesh era versus Dinesh era?
It's definitely a little different. A lot of the creators that I love the most from Valiant are during the Dinesh era. That's where you have like Josh and Matt Kint and Venditti and Justin Jordan and Ven Lente. Like that was a pretty damn good time. I think that the post Dinesh era has a lot of potential. There's a lot of things that they're setting up that seem potentially cool. I think my biggest complaint about post Dinesh is the lack of interconnectivity between titles and the lack of like universe cohesion, which they seem to at least temporarily sort of abandon for a while. I still think that individual runs are really good. I still like Dan Abnett's Rye, and which is outstanding. Highly
Excellent.
recommend.
Yep.
Yeah, and Tim Seeley's Bloodshot is pretty good too. I like that as well. So, what do you?
Nice.
Yeah.
I personally enjoyed pre-Dinesh, Dinesh era, like not pre. There's no pre. I prefer the Dinesh era because, like I was just saying, you had DMG, the parent company, arguing and trying to get the movies going, but you had people who cared about the comics and cared about the continuity and cared about fixing it. I remember the first talk I had with the Valiant guys back in the day, and they called me up. They're like, "How do we get our books on your channel? How do we get you to promote them?" And I said, "Look, my only rule is I have to enjoy the book. If the book's good, I'll promote it. That's the end of it." And apparently, from what I was told, the follow-up was laughter in their office because if that was the rule, they knew it was going to be sold. So they sent me all the books, and I was hooked on Valiant up until that point. Nice. What people don't realize is there's a Dinesh era, and then there's a interim era that was terrible with the wrong focus and the wrong idea. And the current crew at Valiant does have the right idea, so they're trying to get it back on track. But there is a
that's your era.
What, me?
You're
part
of the current era.
I forget I did that. Yes. But there is an interim era where they were just so focused on the movies that it was ruining the company. And now they're back to comics need to be good. Like everyone likes to argue, oh, movies. But if the comics aren't good, we don't have that story to pull from. There's nothing to pull from. Yep. So you can't just throw a superhero on there.
Danny, I blame that Bloodshot movie for the current lack of cohesion.
I liked it. I liked
it.
Movie.
I watched it twice. So I watched it twice, and the first time I was very disappointed because I think I expected something very specific. And the second time I was like, oh, cool. Yeah, this is cool. It was just it's like once I was shed all the expectations, it was a decent action movie.
I haven't read any Bloodshot yet because this is my first time through Valiant. Should I read Bloodshot before the movie or see the movie first?
Maybe see the movie first.
No,
yeah, and then the comics will be super awesome.
Yeah,
Bloodshot is interesting because Bloodshot is one of my favorite superheroes, obviously, because I wrote it too. But he goes through so many different, like he starts as just Punisher with a mixed background. You're like, it's just Punisher meets Wolverine. It's all it is. But it's through the history of Bloodshot that it kind of all comes together and you get to see the different character growth and people he gets to know and how they affect his life and how that it changes his memories. But Bloodshot is one you got to kind of invest the whole way. Because if you just read Volume 1, you're like, it's Wolverine with guns. cool. Like,
I've been reading the Kevin Van Hook run from like the 90s. Like it's all on Comicsology. So, and I just got a new tablet, so I've been reading it on that. And it's actually like everyone, there's like this negative thing about 90s comics, and I think it's well earned because there's a lot of shit 90s comics. But this Kevin Van Hook run, yeah. This run, it's very like almost Garth Ennis Punisher Max-ish. It's like it's an action movie. It's an action movie in comic form, and it's super definitely what Comicstorian's saying about it being like the Punisher. It is so much like the Punisher. It's like the Punisher with Wolverine powers, basically. But it's dope.
Yeah, I agree with you, DC. By the way, I'm also like a Vin Diesel stan, which is dumb because he's an idiot. But like, I can't help it every time. And what? Sorry,
he's 50.
Is he 50?
Vin?
Yeah.
He's also a hipster, hippie. If you go to his Instagram, yeah, I know he's like an Instagram, like it's all family, it's all love. Look at we go to the orb in the middle, and it's bringing everyone together. And it's like, what is wrong with Finn?
And that is not how I envision Vin.
Oh, he totally is like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Ever since Pitch Black, I can't help it. I'm just like
surprised.
Yeah.
I think Pitch Black's the best thing I've ever seen him in.
That whole Riddick trilogy, I love so much. I just love it.
Oh, dude,
that gives you an idea of my taste level.
You like
deep artistic, yeah.
That's right.
If something sparks joy, you keep it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
sparks joy.
Nice.
Yeah. Cool. Well,
it's a great.
I think that's
that's a nice place to end.
Yeah. That's that's my parting words. That's the last thing I'm gonna say. If something sparks joy, keep it.
And
Robo,
family here. It's all about connection and love, and that's what this group's all about. Is that what Vin would say?
Yes, I was about to say, like, I just met all of you. Where are we going with this?
But when you really think about it,
what did I get? Is this the
same
Valiant
person,
cult?
really.
What did I get into?
Oh, did you not get the drugs before we started?
Oh, see, that would have helped with all of this. Yeah.
I forgot about the drugs. I'm so sorry.
You didn't nail them, Judah.
I fucked up.
Just don't make the same as that guy did. They're oral. You take them oral.
Oh,
right. I'm an idiot. Ladies, gentlemen, MVs, that's the end of our show. Thank you, everyone who showed up. Thank you for your time, especially you, Comicstorian. Appreciate you coming there at the end.
I am sorry I was late. Like I said, the first time in 4 weeks they decided to run late. I was like, oh, this is convenient.
Do you want to do Bloodshot in a couple weeks?
Yeah, I'm down. I have a couple of opinions on that.
we're starting with volume 1 of the Swierczynski run. So, yeah, that's next.
Oh, yeah.
All right, that's it. We are out of here.
All right.
Ending.
I'm still live, so I'm gonna head off real quick to go say my goodbyes. It was nice to see you all.
All right.
Just hit me up on Twitter if you want to chat further. Thank you.
All right.
Hey,
Take care.
Thanks, man. Take it easy.
All right. New scene, video capture. This time I'm not going to forget them live. Like, I'm not going to forget them over here, guys. Hey, I'm back. I hope you guys enjoyed today's 2 streams. Just 2 different podcasts brought to you by me and the various people I was with. I've been having a lot of fun doing this stuff on Friday nights. I'll probably keep bouncing between podcasts and just streaming it to you guys on Friday nights. Don't forget to check back next Friday for Loki episode 5. We're going to do that review there. You received the panelist shortly. But yeah, I had a lot of fun, guys. Thank you so much for being here. I'll hang around for another couple minutes just to answer some questions. If you guys want to hit them all up, that'd be cool. I can answer them. Otherwise, I will be back on Sunday on our Twitch channel doing Final Fantasy XIV. For those who are wondering, the Final Fantasy XIV story will be thrown up over on the Comicstorian channel next Sunday. It got delayed because we are working on the cutscenes. It's very difficult to go through like 10 hours of cutscenes and find the exact moments we're talking about in our story. Thank you so much, Adam Barber. I really do appreciate that, the super chat. No, we don't, King Taz. No, we don't. All you send me is memes. More Spider-Man and Superman comics. Superman is on the schedule now. Spider-Man is on Patreon. We fixed it. So the reason you guys haven't seen the continuation of Spider-Man is because Marvel's stupid. Okay? They did the story Last Remains that reveals the kindred, 50 to 55. So I sat down with the writers. We were like, hey, bang this out. Now, normally, when Marvel does a point issue, it's a side story. So I literally told the writer, I was like, hey, just do Last Remains. All that point stuff do is a separate story. No, the point stuff was the continuation of Last Remains. So it's 10 issues. So the video's 40 minutes. We finally got it fixed. We're gonna do, it's ready to go live on YouTube. We're gonna do the next part first because Patreon will stay one video ahead, and then it's gonna go up over there. So. Thank you so much, Brock. I appreciate that. Glad you enjoyed it, Emily. I hope you also have an amazing night, Anthony, because right here, it's pitch black outside. Will Comics Experiment ever come back? It's a weekly show, Adrian. I just released it today by mistake. It never left. I want to bring Ghost Rider. I don't know what the hell to cover with Ghost Rider. They don't give him a comic. All the old stuff's like doesn't get views, so I don't have anything current to cover. Yep, next week. Well, the Valiant thing I don't think I'll be on. I think they're doing something else, but I will be on the Loki show, James. Rob, that I mentioned that liked X-Men a lot, Wolf Status? No. I don't remember what the context was, but normally it's Dan. Dan's our big X-Men guy in the office. I don't know who Poison Captain America is. Sorry. Valiant, if they invite me back, I'll go back for the Bloodshot, but... full stories are every Monday anything, and the next one should be Future State Gotham. Should be the Batman stuff, I think. Dan decides it on Saturday, Sunday, and then I recorded audio for it, so. It was Loki all along. I'm going to laugh so hard if it is. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed. I'll catch you guys next Friday. Don't forget to check us out on Sunday on Final Fantasy XIV. And, yeah, enjoy your holiday weekend.